last week, Evil Tides of Saltmarsh Moon, you guys, you fought a hydra. Nothing to write home about. There's always hydras in a swamp, so this one might a little bit bigger than normal, I guess. You also rescued an ally from earlier in the campaign who had gotten herself into some trouble. Using your assortment of Bluetooth devices, you contacted her princess and arranged for a drop-off pickup situation halfway between where you are and where they are. After resting through the night, the Ranger Illyria used her ranger skills to guide you to that predisclosed location wherein you would drop Joku off with her people. So, I guess I'll take you over to this Dunwater scene. Even though you're not at Dunwater, I'll take you to this Dunwater scene. I don't know. Can you guys see this Dunwater scene?
I like this.
Yes.
I haven't seen this before. Is
It's
this
new because you guys have proven to me that you're not going to murder these indigenous people. So you have unlocked their friendly map. All the other times I had to keep you on the potential combat map because I wasn't sure where you guys were at on the murder lizard folk scale. But this is the one you see if you're have high faction with them and your buddies. So
I mean, they do all have very toothy grins.
They are all about smiles.
Status.
Yeah. The only one that's better at smiling than them is Krebshanker. So
Can I interrupt real quick, just for a second?
Sure.
I don't want to be a big baby, but our kitty died kind of out of the blue yesterday. So yeah, if people are having a hard time, just cut us a little extra slack. On top of everything else. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was not very fun.
I mean, thanks for letting us know up front though, because I've had games where, people have had a complete and total meltdown, and we're like, what happened? It's like, my best friend died. It's like, well, maybe D&D right after wasn't the best chaser for that, but okay, yeah. All right, so. All right, no attacks against Ketyaru. Got it. All right.
Yep. Yeah. He gets to live.
Ketyaru has full immunity tonight only. So this would be the night that you want to go up against the Poison Kiss and have Ketyaru tank the whole fight. Got it.
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. Yeah. So obviously the princess is not in attendance because it's a very vulnerable time of war right now for their people, so they're not going to march their leader out. But the lizard folk, they're there to pick up Joko, and Joko, she is overjoyed to see her people, and explains to them in Draconic the great heroism and daring do that is your party and the tremendous hydra that you defeated. There are many inflated throat sacs of approval, many grunts and long drawn-out hisses, and some nods. They are all deeply impressed based on what you have learned of their culture. All right. The lizard folk explained to her the escalating situation between the Rathroxus and the Soriel tribe, and ask if she has any new information. She informs them the involvement of the kobolds and the acquisition of these notes from the Softskin City, and also explains that the Softskin City is not a place for lizard folk to go anymore. They all seem troubled by this news. And, but none of them really have the, how should I put this? rapidity of thought to start putting all this new information into action. So they're all sort of like stewing in the information right now. I'm not saying by any means that these people are stupid. They just have a different way of thinking about things. So none of them immediately start throwing out like asinine ideas or conspiracy theories about what they think is going on. They're all kind of just like, I have knowledge. I will figure out what to do with this knowledge. That said, they do inform her, and I guess you guys who speak Draconic and are eavesdropping on this conversation, that the Rathroxus have now allied with Bullywugs and Yuanti. So their forces continue to grow in strength. Amongst the Yuanti are those who walk the line between both worlds, which you recall was how they described Sigma. Basically a Yuanti who can pass for a human, known as a pureblood in more professional circles. So, there's that whole thing. They grow ever more nervous, and the princess has had it suggested to her that they abandon their ancestral home, the burrows of Dunwater, and try to find a new place to live. Maybe further north, along the coast, closer to Waterdeep, maybe further south, but there is fear that if they stay too much longer, they will be wiped out when the Rathroxus and their Fellmaster, finally just boil over with violence and rage. They have not seen the Rathroxus gather this much strength in a very long time. The last time was when they made war against the people of Daggerford. So, yeah. Troubling news, to be sure. Does anybody jump in, interject, have questions for the lizard folk, or do you part ways?
I don't know. I guess, do they have a sense for where will you go exactly? We want to make sure that you stay safe.
Oh, not realizing that you were listening in on their conversation, they turn to face you, you guys, and Joku is like,
this one forgets that you speak our tongue fluently and are curious. I suppose these ones,
and she motions to the Dragonborn and Nikolai,
have heard all.
We will keep what we have heard safe. But would like to help if we can. But these are obviously big problems.
There are some mutterings and guttural croaks from some of the more basic bitch lizard folk in the back. And Joku kind of, hisses at them.
Do not mumble. Speak up, so all may hear.
And the lizard folk kind of looks around nervous and is like,
This one thinks all problems vanish if baby returned. Tell Softskins to hand over baby. We will take to the Rathroxus and end this conflict. The baby is the source of all our sorrows.
And there's like a murmur amongst the crowd as these words are uttered, as they're shook. They're shook by this.
Is the baby listening to this?
Oh yeah, the baby's listening to this.
Okay.
Yeah. Even the pet alligators that were out for, a nice walk, they look scandalized that this suggestion would be made. Joku's eyes narrow, and she says,
This one hears your concerns.
I want to jump in and
Sure.
start, my interpretive dance again, where I like unfold from the egg, like dragon style, and I kind of play out, returning the baby to Rathroxis and her eating him, and then her having more babies and becoming even more powerful and eating their power, and trying to convey that the only way to defeat Rathroxis will be to let her offspring live and to not return it to him to her. And that's the only. And then I will try to use my.
What is the pivotal plot point of this interpretive dance play that sells the fact that this baby is going to defeat this ancient black dragon? I mean, you'll still have magic at the end of it to, carry the day, Hollywood style. But out of personal curiosity, what is Therese' take on how that would actually pan out?
I mean, I think it's like being lifted up by the masses, turning against like the force of evil in the land, and like together, like any one of us individually can be eaten by this evil dragon, but together we can rise up and like form ourselves into shape of like even more ancient dragon. Like
so there's like some Voltron shit's going on.
Yes.
Here. Okay. All right. Everybody can get behind Voltron. Let me see. There's only the one dissenter in the group, so I will roll for him. Here we go. This is a +1. I got a 16.
I think that's not quite good enough.
Yeah. All right. He kind of clams up and kind of looks over at you with goo eyes, and seems placated. Choku finishes watching your strange performance and says,
I don't know if it's as complex as that, but this one assures you. That is the child of destiny who will save our people. I will confess, it is not much to look at. It seems very frightened and humbled by its time with the softskins. But the two halves of our whole god would not have delivered upon our princess such a vision were it a falsehood. We must trust in her and in these soft-skinned champions she has chosen.
She switches to Chondathan and then says,
That being said, this one is very curious. How do you propose we deal with the poisoned kiss? We run low on tribute. Soon she will take our young.
Well, one option
Later
is
you have
always
that-
to just kill her.
Earlier we have that
Hey.
stuff that we talked about in the book that we found.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
Do you feel you have the strength to defeat such a foe? Or do you need time to gather more strength? If this is the case, I will bring tidings of hope back to the princess and buy you as much time as you need. This one has a metallic tongue.
Yeah, if we could get like about another 9,000 experience, then I would feel pretty confident.
Wow.
all right. She narrows her eyes, and you see her doing some calculations, and she's like,
These ones will need to bring less allies with them to battle then.
and she nods sagely.
But if you could pay tribute for a little while longer.
Of course. I would sooner die than leave behind the home we have had for thousands of years. I hope that the others feel the same way. Though this one, who swims the shores of many worlds, has muddled the mind of the dissenter. I have seen such magics before. They lack any appeal. They are the magics of the Yuanti, of the serpent, of the trickster.
And I guess Nikolai will look at everyone. That said, if you want to go deal with Black Dragon now, we can certainly go do that. Might be a little scary.
You sure?
No.
Alright then.
But it would be interesting.
For a very short period of time, it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go back to Purgatory for the next. I just got out like 2 days ago.
That is a good point.
All right. The Suriel begin kind of gathering up, circling the wagons, as it were. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, basically just turning their shit around, and they're getting ready to head north, back towards their home. She turns and says,
Please, continue to care for the baby. It seems the time it spends with you is quite formative. Perhaps, in our awe of the creature's destiny, we coddled it too much. This humility looks good on it.
I agree. But we'll do you proud. We'll protect Evan.
all right. So they start kind of slinking off into the water, and it's kind of creepy because they go from like bipedal creatures into nearly indistinguishable from their crocodile companions as they start to swim away. All right.
We do have rather a lot of tribute, don't we? Maybe we could give them some? Save us from having to carry it around? I don't know. Just a bit to take the edge off Sinis's hunger.
Wait.
When we first, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, and if we ultimately kill her, then we will get it back. It's like free.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
like putting it in the bank for later. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be
I
a
mean,
safest,
that guy bank.
right?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
I've never thought of it like that, but yeah, that kind of works. It kind of works.
I was gonna say when we first picked up Evan Fang, when I was still using Search, I wanted to give them Search to give to her. It's like, oh, this is a powerful artifact. Maybe that would prolong her, but I think that's way past the option now.
Yeah, we don't really want to give her like anything too powerful, because then she could just hand it off to someone else, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, we could give her what? I don't know. I don't actually know how much gold we're rolling with these days. Like 250, 500?
What? We
I
got
mean, how much gold?
like 22,000.
Oh my
That
god,
that
that's a lot of money.
22,000 gold?
Yeah.
Wait, that we're just
Holy
carrying
shit.
around though?
No,
Or
no,
it's like in a
no.
bank?
I banked. You know.
Yeah, I banked all mine.
Banked 1,500 platinum.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how much we
Honestly,
actually
have
have.
like
Like,
4,000, 2,000.
oh, like maybe we like give 500, 250.
You can dragon wants 200 gold.
Is
I
that
don't know,
like an
we'd have-
insulting
yeah,
tribute?
yeah, I don't
Is
wanna,
that,
like,
leaving like
trigger
25
them.
cents
We
for
need to find out what
tips?
they usually give her.
Again, they're not so good with currency.
Yeah,
But
they
they,
give them, like,
yeah,
people.
you
About
kind of
size-wise,
got
what
the
they-
impression that the tributes are generally bundles of like 500 or more gold piece value of
Oh.
shinies, gems, metals, things like that. But they've been, once they run out of tribute like that, they're basically supposed to present eggs, like
Well, yeah.
one at a
Definitely
time.
don't mind giving him some cash then, if you think that'll help. But I'm not
Yeah,
sure
why
it
don't we
will.
give him like at least like a couple thousand and only have her then give it to her in like bundles. Like break it up over time, you know?
Do you think? I mean, she's probably pretty smart. She'd be like, "Where'd you get all those gold coins? You usually give me treasure and art stuff."
But I mean, we have.
I mean,
We have
they are on, you know, trading terms at least with Saltmarsh, whereas the Rathroxus are not. So, I mean, if Joku could use her skills of deception, I mean, she is one of the few. She is one of the few lizard folk who practices such an art, much to her disgust.
All right, so maybe like 1,000, and we
1,500.
Yeah, we come back for it later.
Okay. Wow. They are overwhelmed by your kindness. You can see increased eye movement and throat inflations that indicate surprise. They all look to Joku to see if she has both the strength and the weakness to take such an offering. Strength to realize that she needs to, but weakness to accept help from outsiders. And then strength to own that weakness in front of her peers. It's very complicated. In the end, she graciously accepts the offering. And she actually looks kind of like overwhelmed, which is very hard to tell. But you guys have been around these people long enough that you're kind of starting to pick up on this stuff. And she says,
This one is moved nearly beyond words by your great kindness. I feel that we have done nothing to deserve such assistance. But this one is thankful nonetheless.
and you see one tear spill out of her eyeball, kind of roll down into the folds and wrinkles of scales on her cheek.
Keeps you safe. Well, they were willing to do what it takes.
And Cat Yaru flies over and kind of licks the one tear off of her face. And kind of like nuzzles her just a little bit.
You're really pushing that immunity, aren't you?
Okay.
Yeah.
She reaches up a clawed hand and runs it through Cat Yaru's fur. Takes a deep smell of his delicious body. And then lets him go.
Okay. All right, where's the Kraken now, Crash? Cat Yaru wants to fight a Kraken.
Oh man, there's only so much you can do in one session, though. Plus, everybody else would still be there. They're not protected, so you got to think about that. All right. So, overwhelmed by what they perceive as undeserved kindness, the lizard folk head back into the swamp, unless you need anything else from them.
Well, I don't.
Okay. I will point out, Illyria, your current location is actually relatively close to one of the locations from Oakum's notes that he never got around to exploring or sending a party to explore.
Ooh.
Sounds like bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cave we can go to, you guys.
It sounds like content. Let's go.
Yeah, Cat Yaru just like bolts and flies right into the middle of it.
It is content that has been there for a while. Your AM siblings explored this content back in November. So just let you know that it's been there for a while. You just haven't stumbled upon it. But you are aware of it now on the map, as it were. So it's entirely up to you.
Like, guys
Well-
remember, like, way back when we came across this place and we didn't explore it? Well, we're kind of nearby if you guys want to go check it out. I mean,
Sure.
What do you think we will find there? Mysteries? Magic?
what would I know what we would find there?
It was just marked as a site of some potential ruins from the earlier days of when people came to settle the region. So probably like eldritch horror stuff, more than likely.
Oh, that sounds fun.
New patrons.
There's some. I don't know. I don't have time. It makes me so curious about things happening in the real world, but at the same time, I don't want to be involved. So, all right, you'll be approaching this area from looks like the northeast. So let me plop you down on that there map. And
Wait,
shrink.
Crash, you had a map prepared for us for this? Oh my goodness.
This series. No, honestly, like eventually, you could see each other's streams if you wanted to. But yeah, back in November, the other group already explored this area. So yeah, it's been there. It's just been stewing. It's just been stewing in the background.
Well, no, yeah, there were. I remember there were 2 quests to find people who went missing in the swamps. There was the one that led us to the Sariel tribe, which led us to Thousand Teeth, led us to Pharos, and the thing with the search. And there was the other group that went missing somewhere else on the other side of the swamps.
Oh, this is actually separate from all of that.
Oh my
This is
god.
yeah, this was an area that you
So I
could
tore
discover.
that up ages ago.
No, this is an area you could discover essentially as a random encounter, or if you found notes, research, other ruins that indicate this ruin, etc., etc., etc. So, anyways, no big deal. I put you over on the map. Let's see. As you guys approach the area, Illyria, something disturbing about this area. There are pools of acid. Whether or not that acid is natural or unnatural, I guess a detect magic could determine. But there is a lot of it. Interfacing with this acid would be painful. To the tune of like 1d10 acid damage for each space of acid you enter. Submersion in this acid would be even worse. So you definitely want to warn your allies about that lovely thing that's going on.
And I can throw up a detect magic as
Okay.
well.
Sure. There is a bit of a alteration conjuration aura that lingers about this acid. So this is definitely something that wasn't here normally, but is here now.
Does acid look different based on like the creature that can create it? Like, I don't know. If that's a
Traditionally in D&D land, acid is sort of a lime green normally. But you know,
Look at my color on my border.
yeah, alchemists, like to show off sometimes and make different colored acid. But I guess if we're calling it naturally occurring, Dungeons and Dragons acid would be sort of a greenish color.
Okay, so I wouldn't be able to like determine like, oh, this came from like a dragon or it came from a hydra or
You could
anything
give
like that.
me a history, or arcana check, or a nature check.
And
With
could I help her?
advantage to
I would-
with
okay.
advantage to rep everybody working together. Okay. Yeah. So you know that black dragons make acid. Because you hang out with a bunch of them. And you know that dragons of a certain age and strength can influence the area around their lair.
Oh boy.
Really?
You've already seen an effect similar to that in that you were in a different part of the swamp and animals were all like spying on you. If you recall, yeah. So it could be something similar to that, or it could be the result of some weird magic. It could also be a thin place. Basically a place on the prime material plane that the border between it and another plane of existence is very thin. There is a para-elemental plane of ooze that has a lot of acid. So this could just be a thinny, as it were, a thin place between planes. And all of this is just leaking over from another dimension.
What if I send Kitty Cat up maybe like 100 feet high and Kitty Cat starts to fly?
Okay, sure.
Just looking.
Yeah, rising higher above the swamp, you look around and you kind of survey the area. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
For the Kitty Cat. Let's see. Ooh, 23.
Yeah, you see swamp going off in many miles in each direction because of, draw distance, circumference of the planet, etc., etc., etc. You just sort of see swamp for many miles in each direction. You do not see the ominous football stadium-sized silhouette of an ancient black dragon flying towards your location. Nor do you see anything that would register as particularly unusual. You do see some giant lizards making their way through the swamp. Looking around some more, you see that there's some oversized dragonflies. That could be dangerous. But these are all standard issue swamp encounters. You don't see anything that kind of registers as a danger to your master.
All right, I'll let people know.
Okay.
I'll keep flying forward a little bit anyway.
All right. As you fly over this sort of pool, or it's not really a lake, so this sort of pool of acid, you do see that there are bones of many creatures, some of which look to be humanoid. You see that there are vine-choked ruins that are sort of half submerged in the swamp. And there are quite a few of them. You see some here. You see a large concentration of them here. You also see some over here. The walls that are still standing are about 15 feet high. So they would block line of sight for the non-flying members of the party.
Are they... Is the... never mind.
Say it.
Should we be able to see through them now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, with familiar scouting and all that jazz, like, there's no reason for me to have them turned on.
Okay. Well, let's check it out and go on our way. My way this way.
Okay. Yeah, basically treat any space that has that really gross-looking bubbly slime stuff as an acid square. So, avoid stepping in that. We're not in combat, so as long as you're being careful, listening to, like, Illyria's directions, that sort of stuff, you shouldn't have any problems.
Are these, broken, like, ruins, or like
yeah, they
hieroglyphs?
definitely, as you look, they definitely seem to be broken pieces of carved stone that were at one point part of something greater. Examining them, you see that what appears to be runes and carvings are actually clawed hands intertwined with writhing tentacles, just sort of in like a repeating pattern.
I'll look to Nikolai, and I'll point to the top of the wall, and I'll motion to give him a boost over the wall here. He wants to go.
Yeah, Nikolai will take that. Thank you, Mr.
Cupped
Skull.
hands, yeah, I'll lift
I'll
him
climb
up
the wall
over.
without a boost.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Climb speed.
What are these like human bones, or?
Looking at the bones, go ahead and give me a medicine check. You can use int or wisdom for your medicine checks. So whichever one you prefer. Yeah, there are definitely some human bones in there. There's actually some troll bones mixed in there as well. In your professional medical opinion, this troll ate a person, but that was then killed, and then basically the flesh was consumed, and the two skeletons were left behind. The closeness to the acid pools hints that maybe it was just the corrosive air in the area eventually broke down the body, but more than likely the flesh was stripped away by slimes and oozes, who love to live in acid pools.
Okay. I'll let the party know about like other stuff. But these look pretty old, right? Like nothing like recent.
It's hard to tell based on how clean they are, just how old they are. Because they look like they've been cleaned like chemically. Like that's how clean they are.
Okay.
You see Eben Fang kind of slither up and start picking through the bones, looking for some of the choicest bones.
Find a good one? Did you?
He shows you the intact troll skull, which is very heavy, but he seems intent on taking it with him.
Crash, can I light a torch and like kind of toss in the acid to see if it's flammable?
Oof. Sure.
Away from everyone else. Oh, of course.
Yeah. After blowing myself up way too much in Divinity 2, I could tell you most of God, it drives my daughter crazy.
It's so
I
annoying.
have been there. Yep.
At one point, I was dual wielding a poison wand and a fire wand, so
yeah.
I basically had like a grenade launcher. It was so stupid. Anyways, normally acid, most acids are not flammable unless they've also been reacting with other things that would change their chemical compound or cause them to release a different type of gas than normal. Yeah, so as you kind of toss it in there, there is a slight, and then it just eats the torch.
Okay.
Always a good thing to check, though. Always a good thing to check.
I would agree.
Yeah, I have been killed by methane gas in Dungeons and Dragons before. That's how I feel about science in D&D. So, yeah. Because apparently, if you were to open, like, say, a mummy's tomb and it had been sealed up for hundreds of years, there'd be, like, a bunch of methane gas, and it would hit your torch, and then it would blow everybody up. It's like, well, that's fun, I guess. Yeah. Never play D&D with Bill Nye, for sure. All right. Yeah, from the top of the wall, go ahead and give me perception or investigation checks. Anybody that is on top of the wall. These will all be individual checks.
How heavy is Thagrim? I'm just curious.
I mean, I don't know if I want to put his business out there, but let's check. Let's see. Apparently, he's very skinny for a dwarf. He only weighs 140 pounds.
With 170 worth of...
I see. Okay, that's where the rest comes from.
Yeah. A game I ran on Saturday had a Loxodon in plate and a Turtle Monk. And it was a vertical dungeon that involved a lot of rope work. So it was very interesting. Very interesting. All right. I think the Loxodon with armor clocked in at like 600 something pounds. It was stupid. All right. Illyria, you see buried beneath vines and debris is a staircase. It is currently choked with rock and earth and plant life.
Can Can I try to carefully clear the staircase of all
Sure.
of the
Also, with that check, you do spot nowhere close enough to be a threat, but there are a few patches of assassin vines in the area, and you're pretty sure there are some oozes, possibly corrupted green oozes, that are swimming about in the deeper parts of the acid pools. You are confident that you and your allies are strong enough, and that oozes and assassin vines are slow enough that if they did try to give you guys a fight, you would easily be able to fend them off with ranged attacks. But might be worth mentioning to the rest of the party in case anybody tries to wander off on their own or hang out near the edge of an acid pool.
Alright, I'll just kind of like point out the areas that would be most dangerous and tell everyone to stay away from those spots because of the oozes and the vines.
Okay.
Yeah, get him over there.
Who's gonna help Spencer up?
Yeah. I'll help him out.
Okay.
Probably very awkward.
I'll pull from up here.
All right. He
I'll
lets
put him
out
up.
excited but nervous honks as he looks over his shoulder at these pools of acid. He's never told anybody this, but he does have a recurring nightmare about being melted by acid. Yeah.
I'll help Illyria kind of clear the stair area.
Okay.
Oh, and the cat will start pawing at the ground too.
Okay. So you guys begin slowly excavating the staircase. At a mundane rate, it will take probably a couple hours to dig out the staircase. Do you want to cheat and use magic, or do you just want to dig it out like normal people?
I mean, I feel like I could probably fabricate something out of, like, what it's all? It's just sand and stone and stuff in there?
Yeah, it's sand, stone, roots. I mean, you could probably fabricate what's there back into a nice clean staircase if you wanted to.
Can I?
Yeah.
I have my trusty
I also
crowbar.
have. Well, I guess it's only 5 feet. I do have shape stone. Tari will tell the group that, well, this sick new lyre that I got, I can shape stone with it, but it's only 5 feet square, so let me know if that becomes something helpful that I can do, and I'll do it.
Okay.
How deep do we think it is? Or like would it be worth using that, or should I? Because I think I can fabricate up to.
Oh yeah, the staircase itself is 10 feet wide, and as far as you could tell, it goes pretty far down. I was assuming the two hours would just be digging a narrow, like medium creature squeezing passage to head down the stairs. But if you did want to use, some other means to kind of speed things up, you could certainly do so.
Yeah, I mean, I
Stone
could do...
shape like a free thing you can do just because the instrument lets you do it?
Yeah.
Or does that tax you? I mean...
Stone shape's a 4th level spell. I think the loot lets you cast it like once per long rest.
Yep.
But does that use her slot, or just the loot lets him do
No,
that?
it uses the loot's charge,
man.
basically.
That's why they're so good. Free spells.
That's why they're so good? No, they're so good for a bunch of reasons. Don't even come at the fucking loot of the bard with that shit. That's why they're so good. Sorry.
I mean, if that only gets us 5 feet, I mean, I can fabricate up to like 40 feet worth of.
Oh, there you go. All right, you want to fabricate a new staircase?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
So
How long
to make
does
it as closely as possible as don't. We want to keep the integrity of the ruins.
Do you make every step have your face on it? Or...
No, it says like Dahlgrim's Fireforge whiskey.
Right?
Like this staircase brought to you by Fireforge.
There's like little symbols of Gond, like little gear.
All right.
Like, on the side.
Do
my
you
God,
let
I'm
them
gonna push
know
you
you're
downstairs.
gonna do this, or do you let them dig for 10 minutes in this hot, rancid swamp, like, and then sort of just bust it out?
No, Thorgrim would stop them. Like, hey,
okay.
no, I can do something about this. I can get going to help us, and I'm gonna kind of look at Pharaohs, and like, Gond works in mysterious ways and is very powerful.
Like, Pharaohs, like, I'll hop down and be like looks kind of gaudy.
Luck calls down and says,
Hey, I'm just gonna stay up here and keep a lookout.
That sounds
Because-
good, Mr. Luck. Yeah, you do that. Watch out for
Alright.
Uthus, apparently.
Yeah.
All right.
all right, I guess I'll hero stack you and take you down downstairs. All right, and boop. All right, you head down and down, down. You see acid dripping from the ceiling in places, and finally, you come out into what appears to be some sort of enchanted grove beneath the acidic swamp. There are sparkly fey lights, or possibly creatures, that sort of drift through the chamber. Flowers growing without sunlight. A beautiful meditation pool to the east. And some stone sarcophagi along this wall. The sarcophagi are similar to ones that you've seen before, but the body of the humanoid carved into the sarcophagi is that of a mermaid, and not of a bipedal creature.
So
There is also a large skull over here. At first, it does look like stone, but upon closer inspection, it seems to be actual bone that has sort of calcified and grown over with plant life. Vaguely humanoid in shape. The more you look at it, the more unnatural it seems to be, given its great size and strangeness. If anything, it looks like a humanoid and maybe like an anglerfish were kind of like combined. There is a pearlescent light glowing from inside the skull. The light kind of shining in prismatic ripples through the nose, eyes, and in between the very sharp needle-like teeth.
Can I run my fingers along the wall and kind of stone cutting it out and feel for how old this place is?
Sure. Go ahead and give me either a history or an investigation with advantage.
We do history.
Yeah. These ruins, to the best of your knowledge, are at least 1,500 years old, which does kind of coincide with, I guess, earlier, I'd say, than the settling of Saltmarsh. So yeah, about 1,500 plus years.
I was thinking, while you were done, I was gonna ask if I could magic eyes the room with it, whatever's inside here.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe see if I'll stay in here.
There is an aura of conjuration magic coming from inside the skull.
And anything from the sarcophagi, or no?
I don't know if detect magic would be able to see through them? I'll double check real quick. They might be too thick.
They have methane gas in them.
Oh god. In 26 years, I've played with a lot of different DMs. Science DMs are always the worst. Let's see.
I think you mean best.
All right, let's see. It is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. In that case, in the sarcophagi, there's 2 of them here. You do detect necromantic magic.
This is nothing bad to worry about. It's just undead.
All right. Yeah, undead. Thar, if you want to like put them to their final rest, are in there. I'll like go to the skull. Conjuration magic. What could this be?
Okay. Do you peer inside? You put your face like right against one of the eye holes?
Like I do like the whole like you reach into it like the mummy thing or the
Oh,
Lara
also
Croft
these tiny motes of light radiate magic as well.
Oh.
It is also conjuration magic.
When Pharos goes to look at the skull, like Thargrim's going to turn to Illyria and he's going to make like the dragonborn hitting the floor sound.
Oh man.
I'm gonna pull out my the journal that I recovered from the last place that has all of the notes that I wrote for Oakham and just start like detailing everything for him since he hasn't been here.
It's very thoughtful. All right.
Oh well, I'll show you Thagrim, and I'll like, and I'll reach inside it like the whole. Or...
Oh, okay.
Okay, before he does that, I'm gonna start playing.
No, this is great.
My song, the song that I learned on the island, just very quietly near the mermaid.
Oh, okay. Couple things happen all at once. Pharos, you feel something small and round as you feel around it there. It is familiar to you. Do you grab hold of it?
Sure.
It's roughly the size of a real-world golf ball.
Okay.
Okay. You pull out a brightly glowing and magnificent pearl.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It is oddly reminiscent of a pearl of power, though this one seems to have a modified continual flame cast on it.
Oh, so I've got 2, I guess.
I mean, currently you are holding 2, yeah.
Hey, I found it. But
as Tree, as you are kind of quietly humming the song, you feel in your heart a tremendous sadness coming from each of these sarcophagi.
Is there anything written on them?
Much to your disgust, these are unmarked tombs. There does not seem to be any time spent to put any sort of writings or runes on them.
Tari hears Pharaoh say finders, keepers, losers, weepers, and manages to keep playing through it.
It is his birthday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they use attunement slots, don't they? Pearls of Power?
They do.
They do.
Yeah, so I mean,
Pharos, could I have one?
It's
It
my
could be quite
party.
useful.
I'll be honest. If I was a warlock and I didn't have anything to spend my slots on, I would be rocking all the pearls of power. Every paycheck, I would just be buying another pearl of power because I can't live that 2 spell slots life ever again. So
yeah, it's rough.
yeah, or I'd actually just start investing in spell scrolls, which seems like I can't understand why that doesn't happen more often. All right. Yeah, so as you kind of finish the song, you could just faintly hear some singing coming from inside the sarcophagi. sort of in the same tune of the melody that you were singing, but there is so much sorrow in the sound, made worse as it is muffled by the stone.
I think I would. You know what? Maybe I would hold it, definitely. Like I would kind of like just mold my body against it and kind of try to transmit like love and caring and like strength. Like we will avenge the wrongs that were committed against you.
Okay. You get a overwhelming sense of being misplaced, of being unable to rest, of being dried out.
What if we take them back to the ocean? Who raised them, and then who put them in the coffins is my question. If they're actually skeletons in there.
I do not know it. And what is this pool? Is it saltwater or freshwater?
Yeah, so as you investigate the pool, you kind of give it a sniff. It does have a saline, like, smell to it.
I'd like his...
Now, Saltmarsh is literally a salt marsh, so it's not too unusual. There are pockets of fresh water and pockets of salty, kind of saline water interspersed throughout the region. So that doesn't immediately seem strange, but and its proximity to all that acid, that even now you can see rivulets kind of going down the walls and dripping from the dirt ceiling, could also explain the more chemical smell of the water.
Is the water safe?
The cat can definitely go smell it for poison.
Sure. The water does not seem to be poisonous. It has a very mineral and like salty kind of smell to it, but it actually is quite pure, which is unusual given the amount of acid pools in the region.
Free like scoops them up and goes back and anoints each of the sarcophagi, and then like anoints themselves and kind of like swears a holy vow to like avenge them.
As you do, the stylized, almost skull-like faces of the two mermaids carved into the stone begin to weep.
I mean, I obviously weep. Like, what are you doing?
You see two rivulets of water kind of pool up in the stone eyes and just begin to pour down over the faces.
Yeah, I think I kind of just like wipe the tears and take a couple of minutes to stay with the statues and ground myself while everyone does whatever they're doing.
Okay.
Alright, well, are you gonna open it, or?
Yeah, it seems like we should maybe open, but do not want to desecrate.
I mean, I feel like they're probably better off in there at this point in time, maybe.
Well, I mean, the room's closed, so I got the pearl. We can just leave.
Yeah, I don't get the feeling that they were meant to be down here, so
Well, that's true.
I don't know if we could open it.
If they seem sad, then maybe we could
Yeah.
help.
Well, I mean, the room's closed. Like, it's a bunch of walls, so there's no other way out. We could continue doing what we're doing, or
Can I see how deep the little pool is?
Yeah, it reminds you some churches go in for like baptism kind of deal. It kind of has that walk-in baptism pool feel. It's only about 5 feet deep.
Don't drown, Dogger.
No,
There's nothing at the bottom of the pool, right? Like
I got the
it's
ring
all
of swimming.
It does not appear. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be anything at the bottom of the pool.
Okay.
So
What if we put them into the water?
yeah, that was
Yeah.
going to be my suggestion. Maybe return them to the water over here.
All right.
But
Oh,
Swatter. Oh, you know what?
I mean,
all right.
or
Yeah,
not.
I was gonna say let's
some-
take them all the way back to the ocean, but that seems.
I mean, that'd be fine too. But yeah,
But if this is good
if you're a
enough?
mermaid, you don't want to be like stuck in a like stone sarcophagi. I think.
I mean, if we can move the
If
entire.
Cherie wants me to
sarcophagus-
do it, I'll. Yeah, we could try it. If like just
Yeah.
try and put the. We'd have to open the coffin, so.
All right.
I mean, can we just move the whole thing and put it in there?
Yeah.
Looking at the coffins, they do seem to be, in your stone cunning craftsman opinion, very well sealed. If you did not know any better, you would almost say that they were magically formed around whatever is inside.
Yeah, I think we'll need to open them, unfortunately. If we're gonna help.
Thogrum, if you mention that, I will definitely try to use shapestone to kind of remove
Oh.
the outer layers
Okay.
of the stone.
They are size such that you might be able, if you push them into the same 5 foot by 5 foot space, do both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll help.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
an adorable animated top-down sprite of Nikolai appears as he pushes the one sarcophagus next to the other one. All right, they are now next to each other.
I mean, if anything, if we take them out, I can fabricate another sarcophagus in the water, like use the stone around here or something like that to make one inside the water. I don't know, unless you just want to put them directly into the water.
I don't think they want to be trapped in anything.
All right. Well, let's put them
True.
in the water.
Okay, so do you use the stone shape from your instrument to remove what is
Yes.
left? Okay. As you do, what do you do with the stone? Like, where do you send it?
I think I just send it in like little shards, kind of like reminiscent of their tears, down to
Okay.
the ground slowly. Like it's kind of a random call out, but if anybody listened to the Adventure Zone when they did the like the race car
Oh yeah, I remember
one,
what you're saying.
and then
Yeah.
like the girl, like the like lovers, the like lesbian couple at the end, like one of them died, and then it was like the cherry petals kind of just like fell and like gently covered her corpse, like that
Okay.
kind of like effect with the stone.
Yeah, so you kind of shatter the sarcophagi into beautiful, like stone scales that sort of drift down and find places amongst the moss and flowers growing in this grove. The skeletons that are revealed are interesting to look at. You see, rising up from the bones, two haunting apparitions. Let's see. They kind of look like that.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, they hover above their bones and they look around the room with eyes wide, with a hungry hatred. You feel their eyes pass over each one of you, stopping briefly and then moving on. They continue to hover above their skeletal remains.
Can I walk over and pick up the skeletal remains?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll play the song that they were singing back
I'm gonna
as
do
he
it like
does it.
super slowly and like very like respectfully and kind of like whisper to myself like, "Oh God, no, oh God, no."
All right. Yeah. Do you grab one at a time, or you try to like kind of double stack them?
I want to kind of take like a little bit of cloth or something I have and kind of like lay the bones in
Okay.
one at a time in it.
They hover around you and reach out to you with claws that are transparent. You can feel them kind of pushing through your armor and through your flesh, feeling your spirit with theirs. It is cold and definitely dangerous.
Can I
But they are not
say
hurting you.
to them in Aquan, Lumin, you know how I really want to help you find peace.
Their attention turns to you, and they do seem pacified by the music that Tari is playing. All right, Thagrim, you managed to get the bones bundled up, and you start bringing them over towards the water.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slowly like walk into the water, like if it looks like I can kind of step down into it.
Yep.
I kind of want to slowly step down into it and like kind of gauge the what the first one starts to do, or whichever one of them I think that I grab the bones for. Like
yeah, they slowly drift towards it, not paying a mind to their surroundings. This one passes through Tari and begins heading towards Pharos. Tari, as it passes through you, you do take 3 points of cold damage. But it doesn't seem like it intended to harm you so much as it wasn't really paying attention.
Yeah.
Pharos, do you get out of the way or do you let it go totally go through? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I see Tari kind of react in that way, I'm gonna. Try
I think
and,
I definitely play like a
push
couple of
myself
sour
and that
notes.
Fang away from the pool, out of their path.
He seems mesmerized by what's happening here.
Oh.
Yeah, then I'm just gonna pretty much walk down in the water, and set the bones down in the water.
Okay. They float for a time and then start to slowly sink to the bottom. And as they do, you look back and you see the eyes of the two apparitions no longer wide with a hungry anger, but they are now closed, as if listening to something or feeling something so intense that it requires their full attention. It just, yeah.
Yeah, after I drop them off, I'm just gonna kind of back up out of the water and kind of take a knee and kind of say a little prayer to God.
All right. This one fades and disappears.
Can Spencer stick his head in the water and just do like a little, like kind of mimic what Tari is doing?
Yeah, like whale song kind of deal.
Whale song, get in the water.
Okay. All right. The other one kind of shifts colors and becomes less ghostly, and just sort of looks around at everyone assembled. She has that weird, like, fish person feel that the merfolk of D&D have, and she looks very sad, but also very relieved at the same time. She looks to all of you, and then to Illyria, who spoke in Aquan. And in Aquan, which, of course, super dramatic scene made less dramatic because Aquan on land sounds like a bunch of Murlocs doing a mermaid man impersonation. But she says to you, "There are others. So many others."
Whatever she says, I'll translate to the group and kind of look to Ree to see, do you want me to say anything? Do you have a message that you want me to relay?
Yeah, tell her that we'll free as many of you as we can. We'll help you, we promise.
Where would we find the others?
We were some of the first, but never the last.
Jeez.
There were no vile humans amongst you, and that is why you live.
The humans did this to you?
She nods resolutely. We did everything we could to help them, and they betrayed us. Even trapped as we were, we could hear the plight of the others and do nothing to help them.
Do you know how we can help them? Nikolai, not like betrayal, has been betrayed many times.
Those that still languish between life and death wait for a fate of indescribable pain and utter destruction. It is likely the humans have stashed them away somewhere my people cannot reach them. I hear them calling, but I also hear the call of the sea, and I must go. And she starts to kind of fade away a little bit.
Yeah, you should go. We will find them.
All right.
Yeah.
Skull,
Sounds like
you
to
look
the
over.
island or
Oh yeah, keep going.
the mines. No, you're good. I was just reading Skull stuff. Yeah, it seems like island or mines is where we're gonna find. Maybe.
I mean,
Skull, you watch as Ebenfang takes his troll skull and throws it into the pool. He watches it sink to the bottom and then waits expectantly for his troll ghost to show up.
Oh, poor little guy.
I'll kneel down to his level.
He turns to look at you.
This pool lets you speak with the dead. maybe if I find the bones of my fellow hatchlings, I could ask them questions.
So sad. Thogram's gonna pull out his flask and he's gonna pour a little bit on the ground.
Nice.
Pour out, pour.
As Ebenfang throws in his troll skull, I'll definitely change the music to maybe I could do like some kind of roll to see what I know about like what kind of music dragons find like sort of inspiring and stirring. But I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're a pretty varied species. If you had to guess, you would probably say that black dragons are into like metal. Yeah, black metal, right? I want to say like yeah.
I can 1,000% do that. I do that.
All right. He kind of starts like twitching his tail and moving his little body along with the rhythm that's hidden in there. There's some rhythm hidden in there as you bust out some pretty strenuous music, even for your magical instrument. Seeing that no troll ghost is coming, he kind of lets out a sigh. And then looks at the rest of you, sort of gauging the room, trying to figure out what to do next.
Yaru will come up to Ebenfang because he's only ever going to do this once in his life, and he's gonna kind of rub his hindquarters against Ebenfang and look at him and give him a little smile.
Ebenfang eats Yaru.
Oh no!
Something's wrong though. He can't seem to get him all the way down his throat, and with a horrible coughing sound, he spits him back out.
Hairball. All right, good.
Yaru takes no acid damage somehow from the experience. It's incredible. Even Fang looks confused.
Crash, can I run my hands along the walls and see if I can see is there any more to this complex? Are there any hidden walls?
Yeah, going off of your earlier check, you're pretty sure that given what's going on in the area, it's kind of a marvel that this small pocket was able to stay intact all this time. At one time, this may have connected to other parts of a larger structure, but now it sits alone.
I'm gonna ask Illyria. Did they give their names or anything? I mean, did we know who they are?
No, I translated everything that she said. Perhaps I should have asked what her name was, honestly, but...
I'm gonna fabricate, a gravestone or a marker, at the edge of the pool.
Okay.
And just put to all the merfolk who've died.
Do not disturb this place, or
yeah, something.
This tombstone brought to you by Thogram's Fireforge
Yeah. Definitely down on the bottom corner.
It's called a maker's mark, and it's totally okay to have on there.
Artists basically do that when they sign their signature as well.
Yeah.
Just a little /FF.
Okay. All right. I don't know if there's anything else to see here. Did you want to seal the place back up, or are you going to leave the new Fireforge staircase?
I guess I'll take what the group wants to do.
Okay. Well, I think sealing it back up is fine.
Yeah, I like that too. Let's seal it up.
All right. Well, we did. Well, good job, team. We freed the mermaids.
You got something shiny out of it too.
Yeah. I know I have effectively 4 spells.
Would you like me to identify that for you?
Wait, I'm sorry.
There you go.
Do you need it identified or?
No. Well, I mean, I have the other pearl. I mean, same thing. I'm assuming same, unless you want to identify it further.
It's up to you.
Okay. Luck looks down at you guys and is like, yeah, you're down there for a while. I heard a lot of singing and a lot of sad stuff. Then there was like some screaming, or like, I don't know, like somebody's lute was screaming. I mean, I thought about going down to check, but I'm still kind of stinging from those rude remarks that Jukebox or whatever said about me stealing your experience points. So I'm trying to, trying to be polite.
Who said that? Who said that?
Yeah, Jukebox. You know, the pale lady.
Well, I mean, as long as you use them, I don't see why not.
I mean, what I do with them is my business, so.
Fair enough. I mean, that seems reasonable.
Can
We
I?
have a
Oh,
doll
sorry, go
getting
ahead.
experience points somehow.
Yeah. You see Buddy's just swollen with power. It's just...
Can I just scan the area and try to find the safest route out that doesn't have any slimes? Or...
It would definitely be this way, which is also the direction you want to go to get back to Saltmarsh.
Okay.
I'm gonna seal the tomb up if we can find rocks or anything. If we can't, then I'll try to use some of the wall and then stone shape, or not stone shape, but fabricate like a tomb cover.
Oh, all right. Okay. Sounds good. You seal things back up, and I guess head out. All right. I will take you guys back to the map. So many maps.
I have
There we
4
go.
spell slots.
In a way, sort of, yeah.
In 3 rounds,
Powerful
yeah.
warlock in the...
Now you got a multi-class 3 levels of rogue for rogue thief. And then you could use the fast hands to pearl of power yourself. No, don't please don't do that. So.
Rogue paladin warlock.
I had a character I multi-classed, I think 5 times. It was playable, but I wouldn't recommend doing it. So, all right. With Illyria's guidance, you guys should be able to reach Saltmarsh after dinner, after sunset, evening times. Given your hours spent exploring and whatnot. And your slight detour to go up to meet with the lizardfolk. I would say probably get back to Saltmarsh around 9:30 p.m. Okay. It does start to rain at around 6. Heavy, fat rain. Just, yeah.
Swollen.
Swollen rain. Well, yeah, I guess it's kind of swollen.
On the way back, I'm gonna have an aside with Thogger and be like, I have to know. I'm asking if you could prepare scrying.
Well, yeah. When I go to sleep, tomorrow when I wake up and I set me, I have me little alone time with Gond. I can definitely do that.
Right. I put some rain on Groovy too, at your personal discretion. So, I have not snuck anything creepy into the rain track, so don't worry about it. It's all good. I don't know why I had to say that. That's weird. Okay. So, back home in Saltmarsh. It is dark. It is late. It is rainy. What would you like to do? Head to your individual homes, get some sleep, and deal with whatever you need to in the morning? Or do you have other plans?
Well, I was gonna invite everybody to the bar if they want to come by.
Aw, for your birthday.
Yeah, well, it's not I'm throwing my own party. It's not like that. I'm not gonna drink
Oh,
myself to sleep
okay.
tonight because I feel old.
Okay.
Nikolai would be very happy to drink with you this night, Ferros.
So culturally, some Dragonborn really dislike birthdays because they feel, with their very short lifespans, that they were cheated. Given that dragons are immortal, and even them elves, are basically immortal. Even the halflings live longer than them. So there are some
live longer than us.
Yeah, kobolds live longer than Dragonborn.
Yeah,
So there's definitely amongst your culture, there's definitely some sour feelings. So normally, within your own culture, you don't really make a big to-do out of it. But you grew up in Daggerford, and birthdays were a big deal. You remember every year, Lady Daggerford would make a big fucking deal. There would be like ponies, clowns, all that stuff. All the things that a creepy lady would make sure you had for your party. So there was a year with a magician. The magician died. He had a heart attack. It was kind of weird. Yeah. Yeah, apparently he was working the after party for the grown-ups, and they found him dead in the morning of a heart attack. To this day, you never figured out just what happened. So, you just remember he was a pretty handsome guy. He had a nice mustache.
Yeah. Just Ferris feels very, I guess, like cathartic about it, or like he just wants to like coast through the day. Like, oh, here goes another one.
Oh.
Here goes another year.
It's so weird because elves don't really celebrate their birthday because they have so many. So it's kind of like the opposite sort of thing, Of like,
not even fun.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how old are you now? Like 370? I don't know.
Yeah, Ferros, how old are you in elf years? Like, what's the conversion?
Oh gosh, that's so mean.
Is it too soon? Okay, I'm sorry. Nikolai needs to drink more apparently.
Oh
Lyria's
wow.
just gonna be like looking down, like avoiding.
Yeah,
Hand over her
that
eyes.
immediately brings to mind like the classic inappropriate conversation that elves sometimes have when they've been drinking. And of course, being elves, you have to drink a lot, or you basically have to drink almost basically poison to get drunk, etc., per the lore at least. The conversation goes something like being an elf and having non-elf friends is like a human who's really into pets.
No.
Yeah, that's sort of the inappropriate like elf, commentary on making friends with non-elves. Because like, honestly, you're gonna run through like 7 like human friends in your lifetime, which is kind of how many dogs a human would run through.
Well,
Yeah.
let us drink to you this night.
Which is kind of why they have those feelings that they have about half-elves, if you know what I mean. Yeah, some of it makes a lot more sense in that context, I guess.
And Ferros, are we going somewhere, or are we just sitting and drinking at your place?
I think I'm gonna go to the bar. I mean, you want to go somewhere?
Could I play? Would that be all right if I played for your birthday?
Oh, sure, fucking of course.
Oh,
Fucking of course.
As soon as Stargrim's had a little bit too much to drink, he's gonna kind of slap Ferros on the back, and he's gonna be like, with as many times as you've placed a foot in the grave, what's one more foot in the grave, lad?
Yeah, hell yeah. All right.
I'll break
Skull,
up.
how old
I'm
are
going
you?
To the bar.
Oh yeah, Evenfang is watching this conversation with great interest.
Yes, how old are you, Skull?
Hold on.
Man, old man. Oh. It's kind of like as soon as he gets too old, the scales start graying. But
I mean, I feel like I remember when I hit me first 100 just yesterday.
oh my fucking god!
Rude.
I would say I'm about halfway done.
Halfway done.
What does that mean?
And you see even Fang stand up proudly.
I'm 6 years old.
Oh.
Wait, you're 6 years. Wait, Barris looks confused. You're 6. You know how old you are?
I don't know. It seems like a good amount.
Oh.
I mean, let's be real. Most of us aren't going to make it to the maximum lifespan anyways. I mean...
Yeah, live fast, die hard.
I mean, definitely you dragonborn folk. With as many near-death experiences as you fellas have. Woof. Them statistics is gonna add up here sooner or later.
Crash, do they have like the equivalent of like a fireball shot here?
Oh,
So
for
far?
sure. Yeah, it's dwarven fire whiskey. Yep.
Okay, maybe not,
You're
but
a
not
15-year-old girl.
made by Thogrim or not made by Thogrim yet.
I don't know if Thogrim makes dwarven fire whiskey. I thought he had his own special blend.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have a cinnamon flavor.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet, no.
Fun of you if you do.
But does it have gold flakes in it?
Yeah.
Oh my god, and gold flakes, yes. So a fireball shot with gold flakes.
Okay.
Kat Yaru, actually,
Are you
sorry,
guys
Nikolai-
out of curiosity? Are you at the empty net doing this drinking?
Sure.
Sure.
Why
Sounds
not?
good.
Okay. Yeah. So Krebs like, see, you want gold flakes in your dwarven fire whiskey?
Thogrim's gonna write that down in his notes after Tari says it. Like, ooh.
Yeah, and Nikolai's gonna order a round.
Do I have that right, Nikolai? Is that what I'm making here?
That is correct. I will need one for everyone, including the dragon baby. We will give him shot for first time.
Oh, what is that? 9 of you, right? Something like that? Wait, you're probably not giving the whale hound any, right?
I actually don't drink, so I'll just have some water. It's okay.
Oh, all right. So, tits, 7 chads. Need 7 chads. And she grunts and begins mixing the drinks.
Oh, it's all on me. I go say to the bar, it's like, everything's on Pharaoh's Black Talon tonight.
Be careful with that, everyone might think.
Yes.
All right, yeah, there's huzzas from all of the people at the empty net. Yeah, they look up from their dicing, their gaming, their prostituting, their pit fighting. Yeah, some of them look up from their vomiting and begin to stagger over to the bar to get some free drinks.
Once
Nice.
they're done, just because I can only do this once in my life, Crash, Kat Yaru is going to gently cup one of the shots in his paws, and he's going to fly over to Ebon Fang, and he's going to give it to him.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I stopped it.
Ebon Fang looks so disappointed. He looks over at Kat Yaru and he says,
I appreciate the offer, friend. But I,
and he looks over to Lyria and he says,
I abstain from such activities.
Kat
I'm gonna
Yaru
give
will
him the biggest smile ever.
Kat Yaru will down the shot himself. Then at that point.
Okay,
No,
okay.
you show that cat who's boss, Evan Fang.
all right. Kat Yaru, I think you're immune to poison, so you can drink as much alcohol as you want and never get drunk, which kind of sucks in your line of work, I'll be honest. All right. So, yeah. Kreb kind of gauges the room, and he says, yeah, so, I know it's late, you all smell like a swamp, but did you hear that I've got a job, but I'm looking for highly qualified individuals for it? Like I feel like our relationship, especially after you saved my lady love from the werewolf, and also kept me from becoming a werewolf, and all that kind of stuff. The stuff that didn't happen that we don't talk about because there are no werewolves in Saltmarsh. Wink. Yeah. So, there's the quest board and the quest board or whatever. You guys are past like hunting down like feral orcs and the occasional troll, right? You guys are ready for. Let me just be professional. The big dick stuff, right? That's what we're talking about. So, yeah, let old Kreb Shanker tell you what's on the menu.
When he says that, I'm gonna be like, you guys remember that one half-elf fella, the Haxel or whatever his name was?
That's so funny. I was just gonna play a song for him.
You remember when he went walking through town?
I do.
Yeah, people all kind of rouse and grouse at the memory, and some of them toast to the memory of Captain Scarf. Someone shouts, "Arr, the Captain Scarf!" And they all shout, "The Captain Scarf!" And then somebody says, "Aye, and to his mighty pony we never saw again."
And I play like the most fear and loathingest song I can possibly imagine.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, Kreb kind of sees that you guys are very emotional tonight, and he says, "All right, I can take a hit. You guys, maybe we'll talk later.
Just write it down.
No, enjoy your birthday, boy. Enjoy your birthday."
Almost call me boy in years.
I think I've. You know what?
Child.
You know what? If I had known, this would have been a lot nicer. But I think we have some leftover cake from earlier in the week. Let me go check in the back.
Oh,
Didn't
God.
we pretend a head was a cake?
We did.
Put it in a box.
You called me child,
Oh,
old man.
All right, here you go, buddy. A little stale, but it's a moist kind of stale, Like there was a bachelorette. Yeah, we had a bachelorette party. This was like they started in on this. This was like the third cake, and like at that point they were just puking everywhere. So I just put the slice right back in. You could barely tell it was cut. So
how many slices of cake are there?
I mean, Kreb looks at you and he puts a finger to his head. Depends how you slice it.
I'm gonna need. Let's see. Give me 2 seconds. 10 pieces.
What?
Shh.
All right. With some expert knife work, the kind of knife work that in his youth probably killed a lot of people. He cuts the cake into 10 mostly equal pieces.
And then I'm gonna cast animate objects on the pieces of cake.
Oh, God.
I start playing Be Our Guest.
And they're gonna start dancing for his birthday.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
Now you can't eat it.
Maybe you can after the spell is over. It's only gonna last a minute, lad. Just enjoy it.
You think I wanted dancing cake for my birthday? Well,
Feros, after dancing cake, do you want to become Tyrannosaurus Rex briefly? We could make that happen too.
Oh, jeez.
wait, hold on. That sounds like fun.
Might need to do it outside of town. It could be scary for people here.
Like he seriously considered this one down.
This is how I imagine Cheros being a T-Rex while drunk.
With cake pieces flying around him, and he has like
Can't see.
his like tiny arms have like little shots that he can't quite get into his mouth.
Oh, oh, nice.
I mean, you could still try to eat them. It's just you just gotta, Their AC is 18. So-
The people around clap and marvel at this blatant abuse of Mistra's Weave and Gon's power. The fifth circle of magic put to use to animate a spoiled rich boy's birthday cake. They are all cheering. Some people are chasing the cakes around, trying to bite them with their mouths, making sort of a game out of it. Well, they're all drunk, so it's all disadvantaged. So the odds of them scoring the amount they need to bite a cake is pretty low. Yeah, the cake continues to dance out of reach with a little bit of a shake, sprinkles trailing behind them. Kreb has his lute and is plucking along to the music, joining in with Tari. They sound pretty good in unison. Yeah. There's an intense period, I guess, during the song where one of the cakes is captured and eaten alive. It cries out in cake for the others to save it. The others turn to their creator, Thogrum. They beat their tiny chests and claw at their frosting, not understanding why their creator is not saving them from this horrible fate. The cake turns back and watches as the chubby pirate stuffs the last bits of their ally down his gob.
I feel like these things could legit take on a city.
Oh, animate object is heavy duty on the broken list of spells for sure.
Plus 8 to hit, 1d4.
I've watched a chess set like kill a fucking dragon. So yeah, it's pretty bad. It's another example of they should have used a template rather than whatever the hell it is they did with this one, because whoever designed it didn't think about action economy at all. Yeah. But yeah, so the evening progresses. It is strange. It is unusual. But in the end, it is unavoidable. Pharos, you have a birthday.
He's super drunk and tries to like dance with people or just like hang out and chat it up, and like he gets like super emotional with everybody, but that's about it. He's like, Illyria, that's how you spell it, right? That's how you
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have a great name.
Thank you.
And make sure nothing bad happens to everything in like 80, 90 years.
Oh.
Of course. I'll actually pull out a piece of paper from my notebook, and it's gonna be like Ninja Turtle status. You know how April draws the turtles after hiding in the house of Pharos when he was recovering.
Okay. You feel the warm and heavy but dry presence of Ebenfang sidling up next to you. It is different than the warm, squishy, heavy sensation of Spencer sidling up next to you. And you see that he is using his mouth to do some scrimshaw work on one of the bones that he took from the swamp. He looks up at you, and you see his acid-coated teeth in his very frightening smile as he smiles up at you.
I'm just gonna rub his head a little bit.
Okay. There's a terrifying sound that sort of sounds like purring and sort of sounds like a motorcycle engine. And he goes back to work on his bone.
Earlier, you could show him the one I made for us when we killed the snake. Do you remember?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
So remember when we killed the snake and I took the fangs and I carved into him?
Yes, I will show him the necklace that Scott made me.
Oh. He
Also
looks at it.
with acid.
He narrows his eyes, and he begrudgingly nods at it.
Maybe if we ever come across another snake, you can have one too. Or another creature.
Skull, I like you. I really do. But if you kill me one more time, I swear to God, I'll haunt you, your family, until the end of time.
Wait, did you say Gond?
Who's gone?
I could barely hear you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just
I think I got what you said though.
There was a lot of murmuring about if you kill him again, he's gonna haunt you till the end of time.
I see. Oh well, I don't think
Nobody makes him bleed his own blood.
Even Fang listens to this and sort of conversationally through chewing on the bone says to you, Illyria,
If I turned Pharos and Skull into undead, then they would be around my whole life.
I don't think they'd be the same though.
I know they'd probably listen better.
It wouldn't be so bad if they hit the floor.
I think it's settled. I will become a necromancer.
No.
Nice.
No.
Yes, even thing.
I understand that there are dragon wizards, and I will become one.
You don't want to do that to your friends. Sometimes after they pass on, they want to pass on. It's like when we saw with those mermaid spirits. They were trapped for who knows how long. You don't want to do that to the people that you care about.
So, with those mermaids, there were bones, but then there were not bones that came out of the bones.
Right?
Does that mean there's, in you and in me, there are bones? He shows you the bone that he's working on.
Mm-hmm.
Do we also have spirits in our bones?
I suppose so.
Not unless you sell it to a demon. Haha.
all of us but Pharaohs.
And even thing, if you wish, I can teach you some wizard spells in your free time.
Narrows his eyes.
Not necromancy, but powerful wizard spells.
You could become a cleric.
Uh-oh.
From what I have observed, it just seems to me that Nikolai Constantino, third of his name, is his own man, and you're just like a servant.
Nikolai Constantine is only a servant to his great family. Other than that, he likes to kill and vanquish.
See, that sounds good, but you're always talking about this Gond person, and it sounds like this Gond person is your master.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, but Pharos had a master, and she was really mean.
Different sides of the whole.
Well, it'd be kind of like if you learned necromancy and then you trapped your friend's souls.
Oh, but that's
So they
good,
could
because
live
I would be the
forever.
boss.
Yeah, if you become powerful enough wizard, you will have no master.
See? Nikolai makes sense. He has powers, and he's his own boss. Turi has powers, and they're their own boss. You have powers, but you have to get them from this Gond person.
But he's like my best friend. If I need anything, I call him and I ask him, and it helps.
Yeah,
He
but
doesn't
if
talk,
you
he
guys...
talks.
First of all, friendship is a tool that you use to betray people. So what happens when...
that?
What will you do when Gond finally betrays you?
Gond would never.
Yeah, if he has all your magic, when he decides to betray you, you won't have anything except your armor and your beard.
And Fireforge Reserve. And I'm going to take a shot.
Yeah, it's kind of sobering information to receive from a 6-year-old. But
Damn, if they don't always tell the truth.
yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, you could be a warlock.
No.
Now that seems like the worst thing that you could be. That seems like the worst thing.
So limiting.
Yeah, I'd rather just be a wizard. That seems like the best thing to be.
I mean, a wizard's pretty good.
I consider being a bard, but I don't like all that singing.
Also, you can always bite people after you get tired of casting spells. It's very satisfying.
Yeah, I thought that wizards, this is based on what I was told by the lizardfolk. I thought wizards were very weak, but Nikolai Constantino, third of his name, is very strong. I have tried to kill him many times, and he has not died.
That is true.
I think I don't mean to say real, but a wizard as described to me should have died instantly. Now that I know wizards are strong, it seems like a good thing to be. Your own person who is strong in all the ways.
You are very wise for a 6-year-old. We will need to talk more.
Oh, we're gonna teach him fireball.
Also, I will learn how to summon cats, and then I can eat as many as I want.
Oh,
No.
Nikolai puts hands over Cat Yaru's ears while that's going on.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
if you want, that is a possibility. It will not be very satisfying, but you can do it.
Okay. Well, he seems to be once again interested in his scrimshaw. He is wearing his kobold disguise, such as it were. Though he's definitely a big kobold at this point. There are people that do eye him very suspiciously, but most people just eye him like you do every adventuring party nowadays in Forgotten Realms. Like, there's a bunch of weirdos. And then they just kind of, move on with their lives.
Oh, can we glamour? At this point, can we glamorize him as a small dragonborn instead of a big kobold, or?
Yeah, he's at least as tall as your uncle was before his unfortunate heart attack.
Okay.
Or poisoning. I don't know. We never really found out what happened to your uncle. It's so strange.
We're not gonna
So strange.
it, you know?
Yeah. He had a weak heart, I guess, because he loved so much. Mm-hmm.
Alright, guys. Thanks for coming to the party. Cover charge is 40 gold. I need to pay these people.
What?
Hey, they said drinks on me. I didn't say where the money's coming from.
I didn't drink anything.
I don't care.
You look around, a lot of people drank a lot of stuff. You see, you see, Tits McGee looking pretty grumpy behind the bar as she kind of taps the bar and looks at you, Skull. She looks at you.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna look down at you.
Yeah, I
and
guess
be like,
I definitely
this is
have all
why
the
you
money,
don't
so,
drink.
Yeah.
Thogrum's gonna try to sneak out.
It's
Go.
Pharaoh's birthday.
That's terrible.
Oh, God.
This is 0.
Nikolai, unfortunately, because he picked a really shitty alignment, will throw in 120 gold pieces for you, Pharaoh.
Okay.
Thank you. But Skull, drinking contest right now. Right now, old
Oh.
man.
Oh,
Drink.
Yeah, you do.
I would like that.
Now you
Oh,
do.
I will drink you under the table, Dragonborns.
Oh, this does get Small Boy's attention and Luck of the Draw's attention as well. They both look over at the two of you, and they both share a knowing look, like shit about to get dumb. That's the look they give each other.
All right, Pharaohs, do you wish to concede outright, or do you want to try drinking?
I don't lose to anybody.
All right, based on the amount of
Except
drinking
before.
that Pharos has already done, you are going to start at disadvantage. Nikolai, as a hobgoblin, you started drinking when you were 3 months old.
Yep.
Yep. So you can start without disadvantage. These are going to be straight up Constitution saving throws.
Can I?
Oh boy.
They're con saving throws, you said?
Yep, con saves.
All right.
Does guidance help with Constitution
No.
saving?
Bless would help, but not guidance.
Bless would be too obvious.
Can I turn into a
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Rex before I do these con saving throws?
I
don't-
mean, that is completely
Are
up
you
to
gonna destroy
you.
the bar?
I won't actually do it, but I did think about it.
Structurally, I don't know if this piece of shit bar could support a Tyrannosaurus Rex. But you could maybe an Allosaurus, maybe.
Okay. Feros, are you participating in this fun game?
I did, yes.
And Mr. Skull?
Okay, Pharaohs. So with disadvantage, you got a 7. So you're lagging behind already. This is the first to 3 successes or 3 failures.
Oh boy.
All right,
Pharaohs.
round 2. There we go.
I appreciate your companionship and your devotion to the group.
Okay. You just pounded them, Nikolai. You were just pounding Chads. That sounds bad. All right. Round 3.
And may you have many other future birthdays.
By round 3, Nikolai Constantine, third of his name, is drunk. Pharaohs, you managed not to pass out or vomit. But you know that your body cannot go any further at this point. To take another sip would be to invite disaster.
I would say, Mr. Feros, I feel like this is a good draw. I enjoy drinking with you and your company.
You are all great friends. It took them a lot of willpower not throw up, but thank you for everything that you do.
Thank you, Feros. Thank you.
All right. Luck slithers on over and says,
There, Pharaohs. Your buddy's here, huh? I'm gonna take you to your room. I'm not gonna take your clothes off or do anything, that would impugn that sweet honor.
Honor.
Tari
Who's got
starts chanting,
honor around here?
Do it.
No. This man is pure as the driven snow. I would not be the one to sully such a precious flower.
Oh, hardly. I'll lean on his shoulder. It's like I'm what they call edgy.
and yeah, he kind of leads you out of the room, towards the back. All right. Vuthajesk yawns and heads over to Skull, hits him with the bone.
Servant, I require rest. You have allowed me to stay up far too late.
Let's be off then.
Oh, are we gonna go to your secret sewer lair and sleep in the dorms? Oh God. I mean, there's no secret sewer lair. Phew.
And then he winks at you with both sets of eyelids.
But we are going to the secret sewer lair, right?
All right. So is everybody returning?
Boat's still here?
Okay. Unless you sent them back out, did you guys tell them to wait, or did you tell them to keep making money?
I feel like we might have needed them, given what we decided to do. Yes, let's say they're here.
Okay, yeah. Then you guys could just head to the boat, crash there. All right. Everyone else heading out? Anybody staying at the subpar accommodations at the empty net?
I'm gonna try to convince Illyria to take me home by saying I'll escort her home.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I fall asleep at the table.
Oh.
Aw, fair enough. Tits McGee throws a dirty washcloth over your head.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay. Yep. That is Tits McGee for kindness. So, all right. Interesting. Okay. As you, Illyria and Thogrum, as you guys are headed out, yeah.
And I would head out down to the water, so we might walk together for a little bit.
Okay. Oh, okay. So the three of you are sort of walking together. That makes sense. As you guys are kind of heading out, let's see. What am I looking for here? Why am I not finding it? Oh, it's very, very vexing. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah, you guys are leaving the empty net, and kind of it's late, so most of the prostitutes have either found their Janes and Johns for the night or given up and gone back to wherever they normally dwell. But you do see Crazy Eyes still there, and she's just sitting out in the rain with no cover, just soaked head to toe. She looks over at you guys as you pass, and her eyes seem a bit more crazy than normal, almost sort of catching all of the lights from the dirty windows of the empty net. She is muttering something to herself. Do you guys want to do perception checks, or do you want to not make perception checks and try to ignore her and keep going?
I would definitely do a perception check, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, try to figure out what she's saying.
Thogrum's oblivious.
Alright. Okay. Yeah. She's sort of muttering to herself. I'm so hungry. Just hungry. Always hungry. Tired and hungry and just can't wait. I can't wait anymore. She kind of like turns her head and you hear sort of a crackling sound as it turns at like a weird angle. And she just looks directly at the three of you and says, "Are you hungry? Because I'm just so hungry.
I'm a little hungry, I'm not gonna lie.
When I sleep, I dream. And in my dreams, there's nothing but hunger." And she kind of like raises her left hand shakily and looks at it, and then slowly places 3 of her fingers in her mouth.
No.
And you hear a horrible crunching sound as meat and bone begin to separate, and she just starts eating her fingers.
Well, I'm
Blood
definitely not.
squelches out of her mouth and down the sides of her face. Her eyes close, and she makes sounds of contentment as you hear her teeth grinding against the knuckle bones of her fingers. In a sudden flash. Oh, you gonna briefly?
I just want to briefly like think back to like my parents and whether they ever told me about any kind of condition or person or whatever, what would happen to a person to make them eat their own selves.
Yeah, I mean, without even a medicine check, this woman is clearly insane. Her eyes flash, and she lunges forward and sort of slithers/crawls past the three of you and over the side of the dock into the dark water.
Can I try and grab her before she?
You could, yeah. All right, give me
And I'll try to help her.
Okay, give me an athletics check to see if you could grab hold of this person.
Oh gosh, I suck at athletics.
All right, the two of you lunge for her and grab hold of her. She begins to shriek and turns on you, trying to bite you.
And I'll just be like,
oh shit,
slapping food at Illyria. Like, here, give her this, give her this, give her this.
All right, I'm gonna do a quick odd or even. Odd is Illyria, even is Tari. With a nat 20, Tari, she bites down on your wrist and starts tearing a chunk of you free. You hear the pleasant sound of tavern music and the pounding of rain as she thrashes in your arms and starts eating you.
I think I
make an attack on her?
immediately command
Yeah,
her
oh,
to
totally. Yeah,
release.
she's like a commoner in really bad shape. So, I mean, this would be
It would
advantage.
be
Yeah.
non-lethal.
Okay.
Non-lethal. I'm just gonna try to boop
Yeah,
her.
she. There's a sound of two coconuts hitting each other, and she is knocked out.
I will drop the crazy eyes and grab for Tari's wrist. And
Yeah,
try to, like, start
there's a
bandaging it up.
mouth-sized chunk of flesh missing. You should see, to your horror, human-shaped teeth marks where the meat was removed. She just sort of twitches there on the ground as the rain continues to pound down.
Can we tie her up?
She who hungers in the deep cannot be stopped for much longer. This is a manifestation, isn't it? We've got to release all the... I don't know. Seems like we've got to release the people that were imprisoned here to satiate her hunger.
I think you're right.
Thorgrim's gonna try to tie her up, but actually tie himself up in the process.
Oh, man.
Goodness, Thorgrim, and
Okay.
grab the rope and tie her up.
Okay. Spencer, for his part, is horrified by what he has seen. He knows that you do not bite humanoids, especially not friends of Illyria. All right.
What do we
You
do
have
with
this.
her?
Yeah, you have this captive now. What do you gonna do with her?
Maybe should we take her to Primewater's wife? She seems to know a thing or two about
Yeah,
she
I think that...
hungers.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Oh, that's such a long walk.
Maybe you
I mean,
shouldn't
it's
have
literally
had
on the
too
way to
much
your house,
drink.
but you know. Yeah, I mean, you're here. You go like this, and then there's the Primewater house right there, and then you'd have to go all the way over here to your house. It's literally on the way to your house. Unless you were gonna, even if you flew, it would be on the way to your house.
It's still a long way.
He's so drunk he doesn't know.
All right. Okay, so you're gonna drop this crazy woman off at Primewater Manor in the middle of the night. Okay. Some people might still be awake, so you know that works. All right.
Your problem now.
Okay. You just drop her on like the front step and then run away. Is that the plan?
Just ring the doorbell and run off.
All right, so
Leave a
there are
little note.
guards. The guards look miserable because it is damp, and despite it being summertime, I think it is a cold rain, and they got little lanterns. They got their little drakes, and they look over at you guys as you approach. They recognize you. They recognize Crazy Eye. She's got a little bit of a reputation in town, professional businesswoman and all. They also see that she's totally unconscious. Thogrum is super drunk. They cross their spears and ask, whoa, what's your business here? It's late, and you're obviously intoxicated.
Do they have a guard check, or are they just standing out in the middle of the rain?
They're on like the front porch area, like there's like a balcony above it that provides them some shelter from the rain. Yeah.
So hey, fellas, how are you? It's me, Program again.
They ignore Thogrum and look to Tari and Illyria, and they say, what is your business here tonight? It's like 3 a.m.
We need to see Mrs. Primewater. It's urgent.
Oh.
I do apologize.
And then the guard kind of looks over at Crazy Eyes and is like, oh, is it like that then? Okay, hold on. And they knock on the door. You hear somebody inside say something, and then you kind of hear a murmur. And it's like, I guess they're dropping off a snack.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And then the guard's like, you want me to just take her, or are you all here? Maybe I'm misunderstanding. You're dropping off this woman, right?
I mean, if we could explain, that would probably be best.
He gets a little confused. Yeah, he gets confused. Like, well, what would they explain? They're dropping off a midnight snack. Like, I don't get it. And he's like, hold on. And then there's more murmuring at the door. Finally, a very sleepy but always well put together Feliza arrives and says, I'll take it from here, boys. I'll take it from here. Come on in. You too, Mr. Fireforge. Why don't you head into the lounge? Get a nice cigar for you.
That is
there you
so
go.
Great. As I walk by the guards, I want to cast magic weapon on one of the guards.
Okay.
Spear. Like, you boys are doing a fine job. Hold down the fort.
All right. He sees his weapon glowing with magic, and he's like, "Is this permanent?"
Yeah, it's permanent for an hour.
Oh, damn. Okay. Mr. Fireforge, would you like me to send a monkey in to rub your feet?
You guys can do that?
Of course. Yeah. Oh, we have trained monkeys. Yes. Just pick any chair, even Mr. Primewater's chair. There you go.
Well, I'm not gonna turn you down.
All right. And an incredibly well-mannered and well-trained monkey arrives. It is wearing a fez and a vest. It looks like this.
What?
Yeah. It pours you a tumbler of whiskey and begins taking your boots off.
This is the greatest place ever.
All right, and she kind of closes the doors to the den and says, all right, you two, what are you doing here? There was no invitation sent out, and you're bringing this woman through the front door? I didn't know that Lady Primewater had entrusted you to this sort of service, but if you are going to be bringing people by for feedings, you're supposed to use the back door.
Yeah.
Learning so much.
Tari also sort of giggles nervously. and then says, well, actually, it wasn't specifically for snacking purposes. It's just that we need Lady Primorder's expertise. If you wouldn't mind, and I do apologize.
She
I know
covers
it's
her
so
mouth
late, but,
like in a oh shit gesture, and she says, "Oh well, of course I was joking about feedings in the back door.
Of course,
I meant
Tari laughed way too loudly.
we like to feed the homeless, is what I meant, and kitchen scraps only go through the back door. That's what I meant, of course." To say anything else would be strange, of course. Please, we'll leave Mr. Fireforge to it. Do you ladies mind just waiting here in the entry hall while I go and summon the mistress?
Of course.
No, not at all.
Okay, and she runs away speedily for a gnome, muttering under her breath about how stupid she is, and what was she thinking. And you guys are left alone in the very spooky entry hall. Maybe you hear the sounds of Thogrim having stress relief as his toes and feet are rubbed by a very strong monkey. All right. Some time passes, and then Feliza returns and says, the mistress will see you in her art room. Follow me. Oops. My brain is like in 100 different windows at once here. There we go. So, leads you upstairs. You go to the painting gallery, which is... let's see. I got that somewhere. Oh yeah, here we go. Whoop. Alright, so you guys head upstairs to the painting gallery. You see Lady Primorder is there. She is singing to herself. Eerily enough, she is singing the same song that Tari was singing just yesterday, / earlier day that you are still awake. She is painting a strange creature, the likes of which I doubt many of you have seen before. It looks like some strange dinosaur, possibly a mammalian dragon of some sort. It has a very long neck, large ears, horns, a serpent-like tongue, and strange spots all over it. Its long legs end in cloven hooves.
A space cow.
Yes. She turns away from it, pausing to giggle at the absurdity of such a creature, and sees you, and sees that you have brought a third party, and says, "Oh, she fell down and broke her crown, and ate her fingers."
Yes, she did.
And you brought her here because you did not want her to return to the sea?
Yeah, it's just, we were wondering if you had more information about She Who Hungers in the Deep. This woman kept saying that she was so hungry, and then she took a big bite out of her hand, and then nearly ate me, and I'll show her my wrist, and then tried to fling herself back into the sea, and it just, you seem to have some sort of connection to what's going on, and we were wondering if you could enlighten us.
Her eyes widen, and she says, such an accusation. Something to do with what's happening? And she says this, and you look to the wall where the latest painting is just sort of ominously hanging.
No, not at all. Not an accusation. It's just that you've been so helpful to me personally in the past when I've been hurt, and so I thought, well, this time when I was hurt, I immediately thought of you because you've been so kind to me, but I don't mean to offend at all.
She smiles warmly at you. She calls out for those who owe her, the descendants of those who made promises they failed to keep. As the days pass and the rains fall harder and harder, and the seas rise, more will awaken to the consequences of promises unkept.
Tari says, I did not sign up for a zombie game, and runs crying out of the room.
Sorry.
Okay. She watches Tari go.
Just kidding.
Oh, okay. It is of no consequence, unless it is. Do you care for this town? I know I do. It means so much to Puppy. It is the best thing in his world, except me. It is the child we could never have. In a way, he views each and every person here as someone he must protect. It's strange, since he has no compunction about killing the ones who make him unhappy. But he tells his own story, his own narrative. You have to keep the wolves away from the sheep, he likes to say. And these are his sheep. Ba ba. Ba ba. Where are your little black sheep? I do not see them. The 3 brothers, 2 fathers and a son. One grows old, the other grows tired, and the third grows in power, endlessly. I'm sorry, I ramble. You're catching me at my best, when that hateful light is somewhere else.
Am I alone with her? Did
No, I'm still.
Okay. It's like I'm so uncomfortable. Just like inching closer to Turi, like.
No, and I think I'll say, before we started to work for your husband, I don't think I personally cared too much for Saltmarsh, but it has come to mean quite a lot to me, especially the old injustices that must be righted. And so,
The injustice of the broken promises, or the injustices caused by the promises? Because there's a very big difference. I see.
But I know elaborating isn't necessarily your strong suit, but you did say you were at your good part of the day, so the ones who broke their promises were the ones who the founders of the town, yeah?
There is a special box, like the one you found on the ship. Do you remember? That is when the hobgoblin came and worked his magics. And she claps excitedly.
Yeah, I remember.
There is a box like that, you see. A special present waiting to be opened. But, like jealous friends invited to a party,
or perhaps who invited themselves, many of the guests wish to peek in the box and maybe take some of the present for themselves, or all of the present. Do you understand?
Tari like blushes very nervously and like looks at Illyria. Not completely.
You went to a birthday tonight, and
Yes.
in a way, a birthday is coming. It is a day when she who hungers births herself back into the world, and she will come to open her very special birthday present, the one that was promised to her. But imagine her sorrow if someone got to it first. You've met a lot of someones, haven't you?
We have.
Baba Black Sheep, the old and grumpy dour one, the one who headbutts the mean trolls on the bridge. He racks his tiny brain. He cries out in the night in frustration. Who is the Merilith? Who is the Merilith? He cries. But she is one of many who seek the special box. When a box is that special,
and she kind of runs her hands down her body in a very suggestive way,
everyone wants it. And that is why things have been so interesting lately. Because some can sense it, and some can feel it, and others, she looks out the window towards the sea, have known all along. And one, and she kind of looks to the north, has very big plans for it. Either way, things will be very bad for Saltmarsh, and for Puppy, and for his sheep. And probably for me, because I do not wish to be my own mother if it means no puppy. So I will die here with him when the time comes. And should I not die, I suppose I will cradle his broken body and wait for the sun to rise. Maybe on a hill looking out over the flooded remains of this broken town. Or maybe you can fix everything. That's what heroes do after all, right? I know my great-great-grandmother, she was fixed but good by heroes. Oof. She couldn't cause trouble for a while after that. And you have the special dagger.
Right. We do.
See? Everything's working out just fine. You came here confused, and now everything is clear.
and she claps excitedly.
Crystal. And I clap with her.
Oh, that just makes her clap even more and giggle. And she just grabs a hold of your hands. It kind of causes a pain in your arm where you have been bit by a person that has gone crazy. And she starts to dance in circles with you. She is very strong.
I dance about.
Okay. All right. She gives you a little twirl and sort of aims you at Illyria.
I'll catch hold of
Okay.
Tari and continue the dance.
Okay.
Maybe towards the door.
Downstairs in the lounge, Spencer rolls over so that one of the monkeys can properly massage and scritch his belly fat, while another feeds him canned sardines.
Crash, I want to write.
Yeah?
Sorry, I want to write on a little note that says, "Do you avoid flea markets?" And I want to give it to one of the monkeys and be like, "Give this to Mr. Primewater for me." And then I'm gonna put like
the monkey looks down and reads it and looks at you and just gets a big shit-eating grin on its face. And tucks it away in its vest pocket.
That's a good chap.
So back upstairs. Yeah, she's very happy. She kind of sits down and pretends to catch her breath. And then says, "Well, if you don't need this woman, I could find a use for her. Other than that, I suppose you could throw her back in the ocean. Or take her to your Viking friend."
Is she
I'm
one
sure.
of the puppies? Is she one of the townsfolk?
Oh, she is, or I guess she was. She's sort of broken now.
Can her mind be restored?
I don't know. Can mine?
There's always hope.
Turi and I are just awkwardly dancing in place.
Yeah, she makes kind of a dour face and she says, "That wasn't what you were supposed to say. You were supposed to say there's nothing wrong with my mind."
No,
Perfect,
nothing.
just the way you are.
You're not supposed to say what I tell you to say. And she punches a hole in the wall.
Well, I was
destroying one of
if
her
you
paintings.
could have read my mind, you would have known that I was.
That's
thinking
very
about
rude to read people's minds. I don't do that
distracted.
anymore.
That's why I said if you could.
Alright, she kind of like straightens out her hair and her dress. Kind of like a bird, almost. Like kind of, preening at herself. And then she says, I have... And then she just sort of like stares off. And you can see what light in her eyes there was is kind of fading.
We have an extra cake. Do we have any extra cake?
There is a knock at the door, but Lady Primewater is sort of catatonic. You hear Feliza say, "Ma'am, I brought you and your guests some cookies. Is it all right if I come in? Or is everyone decent?"
Quite. Please, do come in. I'm sure.
All right,
she would love some cookies.
all 2.5 feet of Feliza
we'll see ourselves
comes
out.
in. Okay. And she says, "Oh, well, I just baked these. Please, take some with you. And don't forget your, dog and, Mr. Fireforge.
Thank you.
Oh, look what you've done, miss. Oh, you've gone and broken yourself again. Oh, dear. Come on. Come here." She kind of takes her by the hand, and just kind of leads her over to a chair in the corner, and helps her sit down. "Oh, you... I hope you didn't cause too much stress for the madam. She's under a lot of stress lately. She's having a lot of trouble sleeping. Many bad dreams."
Quite. Well, I'm afraid we did cause her rather a bit more stress than we were anticipating, and it is in service of hopefully ending her terrible dreams once and for all. And I do sincerely apologize, and then I run.
Okay, just run down the hallway.
Okay, thank you, goodbye.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, like
holding Illyria by the hand,
like a suit of armor, like kind of like pulls itself close against the wall as you run by, so you don't knock it over, and it just kind of turns its helmet to watch you go, and like shakes its head. All right, you guys down the stairs into the hall. You fling open the door to the lounge, and you just see. God, what do they see, Thogrim? Do you have a smoking jacket on? Like, how bad is it?
So actually, Thogrim's like he's getting his feet like rubbed, and he's kind of like writing on another piece of paper, and he's kind of cackling to himself, like, "When it's cold, would you consider yourself a chili dog?"
Oh yeah. You hear the monkey that's reading over your shoulder. It's like, and then it kind of points out a typo that you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. That's too many L's. Yeah.
Yeah. It takes the thing and tucks it away into its vest. Gives you a thumbs up.
All right, thanks, boys. You've been real chaps. And he's gonna kind of put out the cigar and look over. Come on, Spencer. Let's go, lad. Let's get out of here.
All right. Spencer rolls back to his feet. He looks so like stress-free. Like he's been through a lot of shit. He died recently, one might say. So he's been through a lot of shit. So he needed that. He looks back at the monkeys, and there's 5 of them at this point, and they all give you guys creepy smiles and thumbs up. Their eyes alight with an otherworldly intelligence. All right, so you guys,
Yes.
so you guys head back to your cul-de-sac. You put Thogrim into bed, and you crash for the night. The Rat Brigade, being nocturnal, they are up working on their cupcake recipes. They see you come in. They see rival cookies, and they do make a judgy face at the rival cookies. There are demands that they sample the cookies because they need to know what the competitors are whipping up here in town.
Yeah, they can like deconstruct them.
Okay, fair enough.
try
They
to make
deconstruct
their
them by
recipes.
fucking eating them. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So, okay. Then they reconstruct them into rat poop later. So, all right. Unless the two of you needed to discuss, we could fast forward to a brunch, wherein you watch a Pharos wearing dark glasses, drinking mimosas, try and put himself back together after his wild not birthday party.
I think the only thing I'll say to Turi is, I kind of feel bad we left Crazy Eyes there.
So
Oh shit, we did. Shit.
Yeah.
She's basically food now.
Wait, and
like-
where are we doing mimosas, by the way?
There is that real nice place that serves lobster wine, down by the fishery. If you could stand the smell, it has a very like TGI Fridays in the evenings, but like a very like we're trying real hard to be better than a pancake house in the mornings kind of vibe.
that's a place I got a really, really bland burger from.
Yeah. They have a scathing review that was passed around town. By the initials FF. It was scathing. It hurt their business real bad for about a week until people realized there was only 3 fucking places in town to go to eat, so they got over it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's that might be a good place. They do serve the brunch, which is an elven practice. The halflings felt a little bit betrayed because they felt like it was cultural appropriation of second breakfast. But it's way better marketed than second breakfast. Second breakfast makes it sound like you're trying to be a fatso.
I mean,
brunch makes it sound like you're taking control of your destiny.
Oh, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, Nikolai wakes up and he has no idea where anyone is, unfortunately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
just that teenage boy that's always running the place during the day. I think his name is Tywir. He's like, good morning, sir. Tits McGee said to tell you that she took all the money that she needed and didn't charge you for the table space.
well, Nikolai, appreciate that. He'll like kind of stumble
A messenger
out.
came by earlier and said to meet your friends down at the docks. The lobster wine place for brunch, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, he kind of shakes his head a little bit, and he'll go over there. But he's a little disappointed that no one saw to his person during the evening.
Somebody sent a messenger. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, it is something. It's minimal.
It's something.
And it came from the DM, so.
Katyaro's happy that the messenger was able to deliver the message to you.
Mm-hmm.
He gives himself a pat on the back.
He
good
is,
familiar.
yeah, good familiar.
All right. So you head on down. You go past the fishmonger's plant, which, I mean, I guess you've never seen the fishmonger's plants, but that's where that is. And you guys head on over to... Damn, I can never remember the name of this place. Let's see. Nope. The Snapping Line. There it is. Owned by the lovely Hannah, who's going to find out who that FF is, and she's going to FF his FF real bad. Yeah. All right. So you head on over to the Snapping Line, popular inn and tavern, but apparently not popular enough with either of my D&D groups that I can remember the name of it. Yeah. So they are serving elven brunch, which involves the very enchanting drink, the mimosa, and custom waffles. There's a heavy H in there. Waffles.
Does the waffles have like bacon or eggs?
Well, on the side for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The waffle is supposed to be vegetarian friendly, so not vegan friendly because it has eggs in it. But and it is still raining, which is kind of shitty or nice if you like rain. But the streets are starting to get a little overrun with water. The drains are starting to clog. Gutters are starting to overfill. That sort of thing. As you guys settle in for some brunch, all of you slowly, I believe, show up for brunch. Yes? No? Are some of you anti-brunch in your background that I didn't know about?
Oh no, brunch is a whole meal.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 dozen eggs and waffles. Or sorry, waffles.
Eggs Benedict, yo.
All right. They are going to play some classic elven brunch music as well. So let me toss some of that on there for you as you enjoy your elven brunch of waffles.
Do I remember last night?
I mean, if you want RNGesus to decide, go ahead and give me one more Constitution saving throw.
Okay. Where'd she go?
Yeah, it all comes back to you in an embarrassing blur of utter clarity. Including the part where you may be trying to get luck of the draw to take your princehood, and he refused on account of you being too intoxicated, and he's not that kind of guy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You remember? Well,
he is conspicuously absent at brunch that morning.
I've ruined everything.
The whole way there, Skull, Vuthajesk wants you to tell him what exactly a brunch is. And why he has to go, and he doesn't want to go to brunch. He just wants to go get some fish. And why can't we go to the market and just get some fish? And we always do what they want to do, and we never do what I want to do, and so on and so forth.
You know what?
Do you have any parenting advice for him, Skull?
I feel like I'm really letting it all fall apart.
You're letting your parenting fall apart, or just everything? Like literally, the world is falling apart.
I don't know.
Okay. Seeing that he's getting no rise out of you with his childish nagging, he gets very quiet. And he just reaches up and he grabs a hold of your hand.
Oh. Yeah, let's go get some fish. Or whatever.
Okay, you guys swing by the market and you grab some rancid, outdated fish on the mega cheap. They smell horrible. And Vuthajesk brings them to brunch.
Yes.
Yeah, Hannah is not okay with this. She's very upset that she's trying to run a classy fucking joint here, and you're gonna bring rotten fish into my restaurant with whatever is going on here. And she kind of motions at Vuthajesk, who has half of a dead rotten fish hanging out of his mouth. She's like,
Vuthajesk, can I have one for my mimosa?
He tears a very spongy piece of rotten flesh off of the fish, and reaches over and drops it into your mimosa.
Alright, that's gonna be good.
Hannah
Wait a minute.
makes a face like she's gonna barf, and she runs away from the table.
Wait, doesn't this whole place smell like fish? I thought that was the thing.
Well, not rotten fish.
I see. Oh well.
Can I pull from my bag? Like, I feel like I would have brought some fish for Spencer, and it
Oh
would
yeah,
be,
for
like,
sure.
a good fish, and maybe offer that to Spencer and Even Fang. So
Even
we can
Fang
get
smells
rid
your
of that
fresh fish,
stench.
and he just shakes his head like this woman doesn't understand food. This woman doesn't even know how to cook. Her mice cook for her. He just kind of shakes his head. All right, so he's in his he's over in his corner eating his rotten fish. Spencer's eating his fish on the floor. Everyone's upset, but some of the guards explain to Hannah that you guys are you work for Gellin Primewater. You're local heroes. She needs to calm it down a little bit, and they basically just start seating people away from you guys.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, and they give everyone who's near you a chance to move to a different table.
Hey, Crash, is Lucky still Luck the Draws with us?
No, he is not here for brunch. He is not here for brunch.
I definitely have a bite of rotten fish with my mimosa. It sounds like
okay. Give me a Constitution save.
Oh, I was worried you were gonna say that.
So I did it anyways.
Yeah.
I see him trying to reaching for it, and I will give him bardic inspiration.
Yeah, you don't
I'll
even need it.
I'll whistle a little tune.
As a hobgoblin, you were 5 months old when you ate your first, rotten corpse, because you were left out in the field for survival training, and it was the only thing you and the other babies could find to live off of. Yeah.
Yeah, and I give a little cheers to Eben Fang with my rotten fish mimosa.
Oh yeah, he makes this big disgusting smile where you see pieces of rotten fish stuck between his teeth, melting in the acid of his mouth. There's a pink foam going on in there. It's horrifying.
I'll try and recreate that, I guess, and then smile back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, do you guys dish to each other on your recent turn of events? Do you make plans? I mean, the rain pounds outside. Skull seems completely dejected. He was riding a roller coaster to the top, and then last night apparently it plummeted all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, what's wrong, Skull? What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Did you come across
Yeah, what happened?
Crazy Eyes as well?
Skull, what happened?
Did anyone he ate your arm?
Yeah, spraying fish chunks everywhere. Even Fang mimics what Nikolai says. It was like, God, what happened? And just blah all over the table.
What's wrong?
I don't. I'm fine.
Huh.
I'm just sweating now. I don't.
Why do you sweat? It is cold outside and in here.
Don't you?
So you hear a commotion over at the front door, and you see a familiar face walk in. And he says, "Hey, Anna, or Hannah, right? I didn't say Anna. Oh gosh. Hey, don't. Hey, stay in the kitchen. Don't put down the knife." look, just because we're competitors doesn't mean we can't go to each other's places of business. You're always welcome at the Empty Net. And you hear a string of profanity come from the kitchen, and he says, "Oh, now that's not fair. We don't have a health code. You can't fail something that we don't have." Okay, hey, I found my group. Okay, don't worry about me. I'm gonna see it myself. I'll take 3 waffles or whatever. All right, hey. So yesterday I tried to talk to you guys, but you were all, I don't know, super emotional or something. But I said I'd talk to you about it tomorrow, and I want to talk to you about it because the timetable was a little strict. So, are you interested in a lucrative business opportunity?
What is it? Like, Ferris is massaging his temples. Like, just, what is it?
And I smile with like fishy, like rotten fishy pieces in my teeth.
Wow, you guys are just amazing. Okay, listen. This is the top 3 things, the movers and shakers that are going on. The dwarves, right? You helped them liberate their minds from the ghosts. That was cool. Everything seemed cool until they decided to find out what was below the mines that you guys, I guess, discovered for them. I don't know. My information in this area is a little sketch. But apparently you unearthed some kind of horrors from the deep. So instead of ghosts, there's now, I don't know, mermaid ghosts or something ridiculous like that. And tentacled horrors beyond our imaginations. I don't know. It's a whole thing. So that's a thing. They haven't been able to find anybody to go down there. Nobody's taken the bait. Like, all the local adventuring groups, all the nubs, they're just like, we're gonna go after those gnolls. And it's like, yeah, those gnolls were killed months ago. Okay, like, you're carrying around an old billet to pretend like you have a job. So that's a thing that's happening. We've got business partners with the merfolk. I don't know if you were aware of that, but you know, it's a little hush hush. But there are contacts in the world below the ocean. We used to say under the sea, but there was like a cease and desist thing that came, so we can't say under the sea. So below the ocean. It doesn't sound as good as under the sea, but we say below the ocean now. So, you know, like, the actual queen of the merfolk reached out, and she would like advisors, I guess. What is it where you advise people for money? You know, like they need your expertise, and you just talk about what you're good at. It's like a contractor, but I don't know. Basically, she needs advisement. She wants a quote-unquote dry set of eyes to look upon her problems. I'm not the guy for that job. I'm like the guy that gets the right people in the jobs. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't think of anybody better than you guys, because look at what a great job you did with them gator folk, right? Like, we haven't had any problems with them in like forever. So there you go. I mean, there's that whole thing where they're not allowed in the town anymore. I'm not 100% sure what that's about. But before that, seems like things were going pretty well, right? And I mean, they gave you this baby, so I mean, that's got to be something important, right? So I thought, hey, who better to recommend for this job of diplomacy than you guys? Plus, you have the ability to live underwater, right? You guys can all do that.
You talk a lot.
Yeah. So that's the other thing that's going on, and that's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll find advisors somewhere else, but if we could get you guys down there, I think they're gonna pay pretty sweet premium. Plus, you get to hang out with mermaids, and that's a thing. Oh, but the last thing is, and we need to be very hush-hush about this, but a mutual friend of ours, right? A mutual friend of ours who is rich and has a mullet. He has a business partner. The business partner's baby has been kidnapped, and he needs it rescued. And again, he motions to Even Fang. perfect fit, right? You guys are like adventures in babysitting. So I was like, if anybody's gonna rescue a baby, it's gonna be those two. This business partner is very powerful. Let's just say one of the most well-connected individuals in the entire Sword Coast. If you save this individual's child, yeah. He just kind of lets it hang in the air. Is
this baby dragon shaped?
Oh no, it's probably like octopus shaped.
Oh.
What?
Yeah, the client's a kraken.
It's
Oh.
Kraken that's already mad at
No.
us.
I don't think it's well. First of all, I had no idea Kraken was mad at you. Honestly, Kraken are mad at everybody. But this one controls like nearly all the waterways along the Sword Coast. So if you got into this thing's good graces, you ever wonder why Gellen's fleet is so successful? It's because he and this Kraken are on such good terms.
Oh.
Yeah, his competitors' ships, they sink. They get attacked. His ships, never a problem.
You know,
All
that's
the
a good
all the
idea.
local yokels, they think it's Umberlee or whatever, right? No, man, it's less divine than that. Not to say that Kraken aren't pretty divine. I mean, they usually have cultists and crazy stuff like that. But I don't think there's anybody lining up to do this. But obviously, the sooner this individual's offspring is returned to it, the better. Gellin would have more information about it, but yeah, that's where we stand. Can I put you down for any of those 3 jobs?
I look around at everyone.
Yeah, I do too. Thogrim, do you think we should go into Dwarven Mines? I know you have a special affinity for those.
I mean, we do, but he's gonna kind of look up from like his notepad and. I'm okay with any of them actually. I don't mind. You know, I don't want to feel like you have to go into the mine, but I'd be happy with going and advising somebody under the water, maybe if we could swing that. I mean, but finding a kraken baby does seem pretty interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Greg speaking would like to find the Kraken. Nikolai speaking would be interested in maybe mermaids and Dwarven Mine, but they all sound pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to free the mermaids. Spirits.
And I will tell you, OOC, meta, that these 3 quests represent the 3 end quests of the game. The 4th one, of course, being if you choose to deal with the poisoned kiss. But yeah, so there won't be any NPC adventuring parties rising to the challenge to take these quests out. So you could do them in any order. They won't expire. Yeah, they won't expire on you.
Okay.
Like these are the three big ones that sort of round out your Saltmarsh campaign.
I think we kind of already like committed to the mermaids now. Did we not make that promise?
I would like to see that promise made. I think we said we would help them.
We can do
Right.
the others after, right? Or I don't know. What do you guys think? Skull, what do you want to do?
Yeah, Skull, you've been like super quiet. Oh. Do you you want to weigh in on this or?
I'm fine. I was just trying to listen and absorb everything. I don't. As long as he said they don't expire, so whichever ones. I mean, I guess the mines are the closest. I didn't. Well, the Kraken. I really spaced out there. I was trying to listen, but I couldn't for some reason. I don't know. I didn't. What was the? Because I thought this business partner was somewhere else, like in Daggerford or something. I didn't know it was actually a Kraken. But it sounds like we might have to go out into the ocean for that one.
I think so, at least for the Kraken one.
I don't want to meet the Kraken again. Is that the same one that like bamboozled?
Hey, if it's the same one, then you can fall under its good graces.
You could apologize.
Oh yeah, I can apologize.
By saving its baby.
Not get eaten.
But yeah, I think the mines was the closest.
All right.
Yeah.
Put in.
In Skull earlier, you had said like you thought maybe the mines were like linked to some of the water stuff, which seems reasonable. I thought. I don't know, but I'm flexible.
Yeah, the mines are linked to the island.
Yeah,
Well,
because you remember when we first went in that there was the rift, where all the ghost shit was coming out of. Then I figure if that goes deeper, because we haven't like explored that island yet, but it seems to be everything seems to be pointing to that island. I feel like.
Sorry,
like,
if.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say if we're talking about this, Thorgrim's gonna be like he's gonna hold his finger up. 1 second, let me make a phone call real quick.
Oh God.
Also, I don't know if we have time, but it's got the scry I want to do.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's knock out Magic Brunch. You want to do Scry first, or do you want to do?
The community were pretty quick.
Okay. All right. So you ring up Gon's hotline. Okay. It rings a couple times. Somebody picks up, and they say, "Thanks for calling Gon's customer service support line. I have this caller ID as Franklin Fireforge."
No, Thorgrim Fireforge.
F?
Ah. Okay. Let me update your account there, Frank. Hold on. You
I
hear sounds.
appreciate it. Thank you. He's gonna hold his finger up to everyone else. 1 second.
All right. So let me put you through. Hold on.
Thanks.
Oh, wait. Is this for a divine intervention? Because that's a right.
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No. We're not there yet.
Okay.
Soon.
So put you through. You do. You're only on hold for a little bit, and then you hear, Mr. Fireforge, it's been a day at least. What can I do for you today? Yes or no questions.
Oh yeah, so I know. Yeah, I was just got off the phone with you guys yesterday. But is the doll we called Buddy sentient?
Is the doll you call Buddy sentient?
Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but I got
the doll. That is a big no. The doll itself is not sentient.
Thank God.
It's probably possessed.
Okay. Second question: does Mr. Primewater think my jokes are funny?
Oh my
Oh
God.
my god!
What you
All right. All right, hold on.
This, right?
This is what you waste your questions on.
Okay.
This is what it means to be a cleric.
All right, we checked into the divine AI, and we received a big yes.
Oh.
You're gonna see. It's gonna do like the Napoleon Dynamite. Okay. Third question: are the mines linked to the mystery of the island off the coast of Saltmarsh?
Oh, that's a big absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, great. Well, it's been enjoyable as always.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Mm-hmm. All right. success.
I know we're running out of time. Cat Yaru will quickly go find a rotten piece of fish.
Okay.
We'll bring it up to Ebenfang, and we'll kind of offer it to him while it tries to lay in his lap.
All right. Ebenfang sprays acid all over Katyaru, and it hits the window. It melts the glass. It sprays out onto the street. Hannah from the kitchen begins cussing angrily. Krebs says, "It's just a window. All of yours aren't even broken. Get back in the kitchen, Hannah."
I'm gonna hand Hannah
Yeah, I was gonna say Skull's gonna start pulling out his wallet
for her troubles.
Katyaru, like the two dudes in Pulp Fiction that got shot at in the diner, looks left and looks right and does not understand how it is still alive and did not take any acid damage from a point-blank breath weapon. And then, stuffs
Gently,
the food.
Yeah,
stuffs the
gently
food
offers
in.
the fish.
Yeah.
It tries to kind of like a mother bird feeds the fish into Ebenfang's mouth.
Ebenfang, realizing that forces beyond his control are at work here, allows it.
Okay, thank you, Crash.
While trying to choke the life out of the cat that does not even take subdual damage from suffocation. He's so confused about what's happening here.
Poor little guy. All right.
So it's your tortured piece.
So, did you want to scry on somebody before we ended the session, or do you respect other people's privacy and you don't need to know?
I guess I don't need. But I have been so curious since we found out. I'm going to hand Bagram Sigma's two-handed falchion that I've been holding on to for the whole campaign.
In your Casey Jones golf bag of swords?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you want to scry? You gonna scry on this individual?
Yes, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
What is your scrying device? I remember you picking one up, yeah? Or did you make one for yourself? It's like,
Huh?
I'm trying to remember flavor-wise what your scrying device was.
I think if I was gonna make one, it would be like a font filled with holy water, but instead of like a normal, it would be like a
Booze.
In a barrel.
You pour beer into it. Oh, so
just a giant barrel
yeah.
filled
Okay.
with holy water.
I mean, that's cumbersome, but sure. All right. It needs to be worth at least 1,000 gold. Since you can make all your own stuff, just assume that if you have not already marked off 1,000 gold for your scrying device, you need to have done so for this. But it's a one-time. It's a one-time cost. It's a one-time cost.
Maybe it's just an empty bottle, and he looks into it like when it's about out, like when you're looking for the last drops, and he looks through the bottle.
All right. All we know for sure is it involves borderline alcoholism. So, you scry on this individual who, quote unquote, escaped. You rise up from your body, and a spiritual mecha kind of forms around your body like a scene shred of Iron Man. You then, in your astral form, in your astral armor, rocket off into the sky. No one sees any of this shit. You just start having like a seizure and then go into a coma at the table. You look back and you see a silvery thread connecting your belly button to your physical body's belly button. You feel that if something happened to this cord, it would be very bad. You fly for a long time, the ocean kind of going out beneath you. You lose track of the distance that you have traveled, but you know that it is far and farther still. The air grows warmer, and you leave the storm system that hugs Saltmarsh and the surrounding region behind, and enter clear blue skies. An age passes, it feels, before you begin descending back down through the clouds. The climate is noticeably more tropical. There is a ship. As you head down to the ship, you see a green-skinned, red-haired woman. And she is familiar to you. She is yelling at pirates and whipping them with an actual whip. She has a snake around her neck, like Jake the Snake Roberts, fuck yeah. And there are many snakes all over the ship. It seems like you've traveled back in time.
Yeah.
As you perch your little eyeball down and listen, you can hear her shouting at her crew.
All right, you heard me. We've got to catch up with that ship. If they get away, Mr. Prime Order's not going to be happy about this. You understand? We're gonna be we're gonna be a new force for economic change down here in Schultz.
And everyone turns to her. And then she just goes about her business of ordering about her crew, and they are apparently mid-chase with a merchant vessel that is destined for Chult.
Well, I'm happy it all worked out.
All right. You can hang out and have a fun pirate adventure for about 10 minutes before your spirit is sucked all the way back north and into your belly button with a jolt. You come to at the brunch table, which now just is just a disaster. It's just a disaster over there. Poor Hannah. Poor Hannah.
Hilarious trying to like get Skull's attention the entire time. Like, talk to me.
Skull, do you just ignore her and watch a comatose Thogrim for 10 minutes, or?
No, I'll look at her. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really spaced out today. I don't know why. What's up?
It was many mimosas and many eggs, I think. Too many, perhaps.
I don't
for
drink.
one day. Oh, too many eggs then.
All right, Thogrim, do you let them know what happened, or do you keep your secrets?
I'm gonna like grab a mimosa on the table. It doesn't matter whose it is, and then I'm gonna pound it real fast, and I'm gonna put it down, and then I'm gonna go over basically what happened. Like I was flying for fucking ever. And yeah, so it appears she's in short, running a pirate job for Prime Water.
Well, that is good, I think.
You can hear the sound of Anthony checking off some of his notes. Okay. I'll take the sword back. Maybe I'll give it to her one day.
All right. Loose ends all being tied up. I guess next week we will start with you guys heading to the mines. Did you want to swing by before you dived in and get some intel from Copperlocks, or do you want me to just exposition that at the beginning of next session and be like, you stand before the entrance to the mine, the one you cleared out of ghosts. So-and-so Copperlocks said such and such and such and such, and now you're ready to kick some ass.
That sounds better.
Yeah, maybe. Also, we forgot to give Oakham back his research. We should go give him back his
Oh,
research.
shit.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
Research.
And he's going to tell me all about this mirror.
All
With
right.
the extras and stuff that I wrote.
I feel like the info from him, which is a huge reveal. There's actually a post note that says major plot bombs from Oakham. But yeah, we'll actually do a quick RP of that at the beginning of next session. Then we'll expedite the Copperlocks scene to get you guys back into the mines. Unless anybody's super keen to role play with that ornery dwarf who is convinced that she's cursed. So.
Oh man, now that you say it, no, yeah, it's fine.
Did enough time reset for shops to?
Oh, for shops? Yeah. Let me double check. Yeah, because you guys haven't been back in a while, right?
I think so.
Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, that's some sad news bears too in the magic shop. So, but we don't need to follow that plot line right now. So, I'll just let you know that she seems the proprietor seems distracted. Is all. but I don't want to drown you guys. I don't want to drown you guys in quest lines. So there's a lot going on here. Let's see. Yeah, that's right, because they just got bought out this morning of some stuff. So let me update that real quick.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode of Communing with Gond.
It was good. I like the music too that you have going on with it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's really setting the mood.
Hannah's trying her best to make this fucking place a real fucking classy joint, and she doesn't want to be like that fuck up across the bay. You know, Krebs Shanker. What kind of name is that? Jeez. Basically, like one letter away from Shanker, like a guy that kills people. It's not even thinly veiled. Like, first of all, how could anybody trust a guy that runs a business like that? Second of all, what kind of woman could trust her heart to an asshole like that? And she blushes and looks out the window.
How does the wicker goat fare at this trifecta of the
Wicker
only
Goats is a cop bar, so it always does good. Yeah, it's a cop bar, always does good.
It's gonna get real interesting when Illyria opens up her restaurant.
Oh shit!
What?
Something to do with whales. It's gonna be something to do with whales. I know it.
I look forward to the post-campaign exposition episode where everybody tells me exactly what they did, assuming they survived the ending. It's very exciting. All right, let me send over to Treasure the updated Quartermasters of Joachim. Okay. They are running a special right now. Buy 10 basic bitch potions. You pay for 9, you get the 10th free. So buy 9, get 1 free on basic bitch healing potions. They are strawberry flavored.
That sounds pretty good.
Lightly carbonated. Heavy carbonated ended up taking 2 rounds to drink. They couldn't move the product. Yeah, so let's see. And then if you guys are supporting local businesses, I can check and see how the Dwarven Anvil's doing. Unless you guys are boycotting those folks. So
no.
Okay.
Was that the one that was having the problems? Not that I'm trying to get more quests.
No. It was
forgot.
actually the Quartermasters of Joachim were having trouble. But yeah.
I remember the first couple episodes when we first walked over there, and Thogrim they were putting up a sign for it, and Thogrim went and talked to them.
Yeah. They've been doing pretty well for themselves, but you do see that there is more security than normal, and that the proprietor does seem a bit less friendly and a bit more on edge. All right. Oops. Yep. Oh, there we go.
If we got time, even though we're a little bit over, I could do like a whole meditation thing like Gon does to see you, or not Gon, that Thogrim does to see if there's a whole there's a god out there that's taken particular interest in Pharaoh's paladin ickiness, or his help wanted warlock sign.
Help wanted warlock.
In his mind palace, it's just.
Is it super gaudy?
Oh yeah, no, it's not. It's maybe like just like marble. Like actually, no, instead of like marble, it's like onyx
Bats
just
fly
everywhere.
out the door.
Yeah. As you're in your mind palace, a stout, red-headed dwarf walks in. He cracks open a cold one, and he comes and he sits down next to you.
Drinking Fireforge Reserve?
Hello.
He looks over and he nods at you. Aye.
Can I help you?
I saw you. I saw you were putting it out there.
I might.
You know, by it, that empty spot where your soul was.
Well, kinda, yeah. So just wondering if there's what's out there.
You got a lot of empty places, a lot of broken parts.
That hurts.
You're in luck. I like broken things. I like fixing things up.
Well, who are you?
Who am I? Let's see. What would go over best with you? And he kind of scratches his beard. Takes a... Uh-oh. The cheese police are here. I'm so sorry. Hold on a second.
It's like elevator music.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. My pugs are training me to feed them a cheese stick after every D&D game, and now they've learned to tell time, so they know when the D&D sessions
Oh
are
my
off. Yeah, and they headbutt open the door and start howling for cheese sticks.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
That's
All right. So the guy,
Amazing.
he puts down his beer, and he says, just call me Bathsheba the Sadistic. I'm a real nasty devil. So one of the worst. I'm surprised you haven't heard of me. Yeah, it's if you need the exact spelling, and he grabs your hand and he just writes on your hand. There you go, Bathsheba. I'm a pretty bad guy. I do a lot of bad stuff. I understand if just hearing that makes you scared of me. But I'm not in the market for wusses. So, but yeah, I have great and unfathomable power that I like to flex sometimes through mortals. So, have you given any thought to filling in some of them empty spots with some hellish fury?
Ah, sure. Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Go from one baddie to the next.
Yeah. So,
And you're gonna take the first offer?
Well, I mean, it's like an application process.
I think
No,
you have to
it's-
like play them off against each other, right? Like, yeah, like
Mhm.
who's like gonna give you the best deal?
yeah. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's real simple. If you want to train in Warlock, I could keep training you up. I'll take over for whatever that lady's name was. Yeah. Or were they a man this time? I can't keep track. Anyways, I know you've been hurt, right? But I'm not that kind of guy. I like to hurt, but not the people working for me. That's bad business.
All right, some quick questions.
Sure.
All right. What's the shtick? Who are the bad guys you like to hurt, and who are you working for?
Oh yeah. So the shtick. It's basically I really like people who are creative. Creative types. So anybody that's like standing in the way of like free thinking, we're gonna want to put them down hard.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so
Like the Sword Coast has got a real bad thing about guns. I'm thinking maybe of starting like my own crusade against anti-gun laws.
that sounds cool.
Yeah. So honestly, I could teach you how to use a gun if you want.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll talk. Yeah. We'll be in touch. All right.
That's right. And it's called Eldritch Gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Whenever you use your Eldritch Blast now, you're gonna have one of these big-ass magnums. And he shows you a gun that only a person with a very small penis would feel they need to use. I mean, it is a big fucking gun. It's like Magnum PI. It's a big gun. And he's like, anytime you go to the Eldritch Blast, this baby's gonna be in your hand. Ka-chow. And people are gonna see it and be like, guns are illegal. And you know what you're gonna say? Fuck you.
Kapow. Okay.
I don't know. It'd be pretty hard to not be okay with this guy.
Nah, this guy's great. No. So,
Maybe don't tell your goody friends about me, right? Because they hear a name like Bathsheba the Sadistic, they might get the wrong idea. You know what I mean?
Call to leave off the sadistic part.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. How about Bathsheba the Lucrative?
Yeah. All right, as long as you're giving out hex blades, and
Well, how about this? We'll make it like a hex gun sword. All right. Like, you ever heard of that?
Ooh.
Yeah, like, he hold on. And he, like, takes out, like, a bar napkin. And he's like, so it'll be like a sword, right? And then we'll just strap a fucking gun on it. I know that kind of looks like a dick, but just bear with me, all right? And we'll do a little barrel here, okay? And then, yeah, all right? And then some more parts here. Yeah, and then there'll be like a handle. There you go. Yeah, and then you could, like, slice people and stab people, but also, ka-chow, shoot them with the gun.
that is I like the way you think.
All right.
And you're like,
all right. I guess all we gotta do is shake on it, yeah?
Oh my gosh.
All right. He puts out his hand.
yeah, I'll take it. And
Okay. As you shake his hand, you feel a tremendous peace come over you. A lot of your sadness and your hang-ups about your father, your situation growing up, the betrayal that you committed and that was committed against you, you feel a lot of that begin to fade into the background a bit. You feel that it's not gone, but it's smaller, lighter, and easier to carry. All right, it'll be a pleasure working with you. And maybe if you do a good job, I could do a little finagling and maybe get that soul of yours plucked out of Gehenna, right?
Oh yeah, that was a little unpleasant.
Yeah, well, trust me, you're gonna love the 9 hells so much more than Gehenna. I mean, we have coffee. And motorcycles. You probably don't even know what a fucking motorcycle is.
What's a motorcycle?
You're gonna find out eventually.
All right.
All right. Well, I look forward to the work we're gonna do together. All right, I'm a busy guy. So more than likely, if you need me, you know, I might have to send an intermediary, like a devil or an imp or something. Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you definitely seem like the kind of guy that likes to have a little bit more hands-on, you know? Some of the people in my service, they're a bit more independent, but I could see that, you know, we're going to work a little bit closer together. So I'll definitely have one of mine working with you a bit more on the regular.
Sounds good.
All right, great. And with that, he kind of claps his hands on his knees, stands up, and heads out of your mind palace. Does all this happen at fucking brunch?
Just have 2 guys zoned down at the table. Hilarious shaking skulls.
On that note, I will leave you guys with the bundles of research that you need to drop off at Oakham's house, and the further exploration of the mines and the ruins waiting for next week. All right, cool. All right, I gotta go feed these pugs before they knock me out of my chair and eat me alive. So, I hope you guys have a good week coming up. Only announcements I got is there's a build battle going on. It's going to determine a new sub race that we're going to allow homebrewed into the games on the server. So definitely cast your vote, because that's going to affect games and stuff. So, or submit one if you've got one. All right. Also, we got a book club thing, and there's a new book, and you can find out about it on the book club channel, which is weird to say that we have a book club channel, but we do. So if you wanted to jump in, last book club was really fun. We had a really cool discussion at the end. So yeah. All right. Night, everybody.
Yeah,
Good
night, everyone.
night, thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks,
good
everyone.
Bye.
Night.
Night, night, night.
night. Bye.